wishing you a Halloween full of goobers and not raisinets. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. Sam Tripoli back. We went to the bullpen to get Sam. We're going to have Fitz Dog in. He got the flu, and we just called Sam last night. It was
Thank you for having me on. Greatly appreciate it.
We're big fans. Mayhem as well. Yeah. Also, a new special, Why Is Everyone Getting Quiet? It's available on Sam's website, samtripoli.com. And how's it doing?
It's doing well, man. I put out on Twitter, too. I think that's the freest of the sites right now. You can pretty much say whatever you want on there. So I put it on there. It's doing well, and it's great. Then I was on Rogan. It's me and Trump on the same day. So we're Eskimo brothers.
Wow, yeah.
It's like together we have like 40 million views.
Together combined. That's right. Hell yeah. Together me and Kimmel have 20 million Twitter followers.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, sad news. My dad passed away last night.
I'm sorry, man.
That's all right. We had I would say a complicated relationship that wasn't really that complicated. First off, he was old. He was 93.
Damn.
Nice run.
Had a good run. If you want to call it good, I don't know. My dad was unlike anybody I've ever met in that he did not have wishes or desires. He just wanted to be. It was a very strange combination that I've never seen in another human being. There's good, there's bad, there's erratic, there's a lot of people, there's substance stuff, there's a lot of stuff. There's a picture of my dad from back in the day. My dad was very gentle, very friendly, nice. You would definitely want him. He's the kind of guy that if he was babysitting for your kids and didn't have any money and found $20 on the floor of the kitchen, he'd just take it and set it on the coffee table. So he had a good kind of a moral compass. He also is the only male I've ever met that he didn't have a drink. He didn't have a steakhouse he went to. My dad's never been to a strip club. My dad has never had a martini. My dad has never been to Europe. My dad's never been to Utah. I started checking with him because I started doing dates. I'd go, I'm going to be in Denver this weekend doing some shows. And he'd go, okay. I'd go, ever been to Denver? And he'd go, no. I'd go, all right. And then the next week I'd be in Salt Lake City. I go, ever get to Salt Lake City? I'd go, no. Now the answer is, the life that my dad lived, you would feel unsatisfied with, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
What he wanted to do is to be left alone and to not hurt anybody and to not smoke, drink, curse, not because he was good or religious or anything. He just was. He's the only guy I know who would have cottage cheese and raisins for dinner. You know what I mean? And I'm dreaming of ribs and martinis and porterhouse and he
sounds like an Italian Buddha to me.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird. He never owned a sports car. He never drove a convertible. He never had a second car. Like his car would be like, I remember like once in a while he's like had like a beige Buick or something, and I said, why'd you get this color, Dad? It's a kind of flesh tone, weird color. And he's like, I just have a guy, and the lease guy, he just picks it out. I go, you didn't want to go
simple man,
see your own. Now, that it was good in a lot of ways, but it was universal. He didn't care about you or my sister or him or her. He didn't do anything. Now, my dad, these are all, he came over one day to my house in the hills after I'd sort of made it, and I'd literally taken delivery of a new Ferrari that day, and it was in my garage. And he walked in the front door, and he said, like, how's it going or something? I said, pretty good. I just got a brand new Ferrari an hour ago. And he said, okay, where do you want to go to lunch? And he just left. He never went to the garage. He picked up a magazine with me on the cover of it at in a grocery store once, looked at the cover and then put it back in the slot, and we left. He never opened it. He had a bizarre ability to have zero interest in anything except for the trumpet and psychology. So I like building. He did not own. He was one of those guys. You know, the bare minimum, there's that drawer in the kitchen with the screwdriver and the pliers in it. He didn't have that. He did not own a tool.
So interesting.
He's never popped the hood of a car. He wouldn't know what to do if you popped the hood in the car. He has never done anything on a house. He has. So I was football. He's never played football. He's never owned cleats. He's never put on cleats. He's never owned a golf clubs, tennis racket, these are my bowling shoes. He's never owned anything, just sneakers. Never ran, never trained, never been on any team of any kind. And I was like sports, then construction, car construction, then boxing, comedy, boxing, and then car comedy. He's never known any of it.
Now, you told us all about the differences. Where are the similarities? Because I, for years, hated my dad, and then something clicked, and I went, oh, now I know why I'm the way I am, because I know this guy, and I always look like I'm so different. But at some point, something clicked with me on it. Oh, I'm exactly the same.
You see that happen a lot with people.
My dad and Sam's your dad still with us?
Yeah.
My dad is very detuned, and I'm detuned as well. And people, I don't know if they fully know that about me, but I'm totally detuned. Like,
what do you mean?
I don't react. I was talking to Jimmy once a million years ago. He was in New York. I was in L.A. I was still living in an apartment to look like, and my Toyota Supra was parked on the street. And I was on the phone with Jimmy. And a drunk guy in a pickup truck come flying down the street and completely destroyed my car. And it was such a collision that on the phone, and I was looking out the slider window at it. And it was such a collision. It was like, I'm talking to him and it's like, pow! And then I was going, so what deli did you guys go to? And Jimmy goes, what was that noise? And I go, that was the sound of my car being destroyed. And he goes, seriously? I go, seriously, I just got my car just got totaled. And he goes, well, why didn't you didn't say anything?
Wow,
I was like,
that's a superpower.
I was like, well, the car's totaled. I want to know what deli you went to. My car's totaled. I remember once another conversation when we did we did Loveline, the TV show. We did it. It was going to be syndicated strip show, late night syndicated show. And we sold it in like 98% of the market. We went to NAPTI, which is a big convention for TV back, and we met with all the distributors and the station owners and stuff. And when we were done, it's like success. This late night show has cleared 98% of the markets in the country, and we're starting Monday, and we've never had this high clearance rate. And then like the Sunday night before, they called me, and they go, horrible news. They pulled the plug on it. The wife of the whatever didn't like it, the syndicator, it's done.
Wow.
And I said, okay. And the person went, seriously, I'm not kidding. And I said, I heard you. And they went, no, but seriously, it's done. And I was like, I understand. And they thought.
That's a gift.
Detuned. Yeah, it's good until your dad dies and you go, my dad dies. And I go, there you go. And then I walk out in the next room. So my dad was mellow, and I got some of his detunedness from it. Like I'm if you watch footage of me in a $5 million race car in the middle of a race going backwards at 120 miles an hour, you're not going to see a lot of movement out of me. You'll just see me sort of
Yeah.
sit in the car while I'm going backwards. And there's walls and shit, and like other cars. I'm detuned that way. So he's got his temperament is good. He never yelled at me.
Have
He
you
never
ever
raised
asked
a
your
hand
mom
at me.
why she chose your dad? Like, if he's so, like, detuned and simple, which I would love to be that simple. I'm just not. I would love to be detuned. Have you ever gone, Mom? Because my mom used to talk about how there's this guy who owned all these grocery stores, and it was between him and my dad, and
yeah.
she chose my dad, and she's regretted it ever since. Have you ever gone, like, why did you pick Dad, Mom?
Well, for my mom, it's between my dad and nothing. So there was no magnate who owned a bunch of Albertsons. My mom, they were both the last two people picked up for the baseball team. You know what I mean? Like they were both.
Oh my God.
So my mom and my dad were not dateable unless they could find a version of them. You know, my dad is like grew up in South Philly, just scared of everything and moved out here. And my mom is just a mess. They're both just a mess. And then they both got together, but they both soon realized that both of them didn't do things for other people. So it was like somebody sitting on a sofa and somebody knocked on the door and you went, you're going to get that? And they went, you going to get that? And then you went, I'm not going to get it. Are you going to get it? I'm not getting up. Are you getting up? No, I'm not getting up either. Okay. Well, then no one's answering the door because a person that it's like moody people. A mellow person or a consistent person can be married to a moody people, but two moody people, that doesn't work. I've always said that with assholes too. Yeah. We all know and have worked with assholes like where the person's telling me, it's like, that guy Rob bugs the shit out of me. It's like, yeah, because he's an asshole. And so are you. Yeah, that's why he bugs the shit out of you. I can get along with Rob because I'm mellow and detuned and I'm flexible. You can't, but you don't realize it's you. It's two to tango. Both my parents didn't do anything for themselves or anybody else. I mean, they did the bare minimum, I would say. So being together, that was an issue. Like, who's going to work? Who's going to mow the lawn? Who's going to keep up who's going to do whatever? So they got away from each other and found people who were normal and who could do something. You can't have two couch potatoes. You can have one couch potato and then one person who has a job and who does I'm going to regrout the bathroom this weekend, honey, while you're on the sofa.
Where'd you get your sense of humor from, your dad or your mom?
My mom is the least funny person I've ever met, ever. I mean, my dad is like, if somebody said, like if you said, well, you have a passion for home improvement, design, and architecture, what would you rate your dad? I would go, well, 0? I guess, I mean, he's not an arsonist. He doesn't burn down structures, but he has 0. If you said to where's your dad 1 to 10 on cars? I'd go, he's a 0. It's 0. Now, there are other people who don't care about cars, but you can only tie my dad.
So you're self-taught and all that, huh?
Yeah, you can't be less interested in cars or construction than my dad.
What did he care about?
He cared about his trumpet. He played the trumpet. Now, my mom
that's
has no sense of humor and was a little bit angry. So she had a kind of sense of humor.
Anti-comic.
Nice.
She was the anti-comic. Yeah.
Do you have kids, Sam?
No.
It's so interesting hearing you tell this because, I have children and you want the best for them. You try to install that into them as much as humanly possible. But to see that your parents weren't funny, they weren't handyman, they didn't work on cars, and that's what you flourished in. It goes back to this thing. I think your children are on a path.
Yes, they are.
And the best you could do is shelter them from trauma. If they don't get any trauma, they'll tend to find where they're supposed to be.
Yes. I was such a crazy gearhead when I was 10. I was taking things apart, but I didn't have tools in the house. And it's in you. It's like look, every gay guy tells the story, right? When they go, when I was 13, they were trying to set me up with Tammy, but it was her brother I was interested in. And it's the same way with like the gearhead gene. Like I just found myself taking apart stuff when I was that age and hanging out. I go to other people's houses and hang out in their garage because their dads had tools. I got yelled at a lot by my friends' dads because I was getting into their tools all the time because I wanted tools. Now, my mom has no sense of humor and was passive aggressive. So like she was a killer of comedy. So like if you said to my mom, like if you said, man, every time I'm running late for the airport, always some slow poke in front of me, she'd go, not every time. It's not every time. There's a lot of comedians who do that as well, sadly. Yeah. But she would do that.
Improver ever.
She was also just kind of weird. She was a bummer. My mom was a bummer and a down rounder and had little sayings that were all sort of jabs. Like if you said to my mom, oh man, I was going to say something. Oh man, it was so funny. Oh, what was I can't remember what it was so good. I was going to say something. She'd go, it must not have been very important. which is basically saying, I guess I don't have valid thoughts. That was her only say, was that. So she was a full bummer, didn't know anything about comedy, didn't like comedy, didn't talk very much, the opposite of comedy. My dad liked comedy and was funny. And even tried comedy, but he ran into the same thing that all of us run into in our travels, especially Sam. You know, we talk to these comedian stuff. You got to go out and do comedy if you want to do comedy. Yeah. And the problem with my dad in comedy is comedy was something. Comedy required writing, rehearsing, standing in line, open mics, driving across town, Groundlings classes when you don't have money and all that stuff. And he wasn't going to do anything. So while he had some comedic, he had a decent sense of humor and probably in some recess of his mind would have loved to be a radio show host or comedian or something like that, could never get the horsepower to the rear wheels. My analogy I always say is you could have 500 horsepower engine, but if you can't get it to the rear wheels, you got nothing. You might as well have no engine, right? So he couldn't, I don't even know what he would say about, he kind of thought about trying to be a comedian. He had a sense of humor. He was very decent in terms of, he's the kind of guy you'd want as a neighbor, because he's the kind of guy my dad would go to bed at 9, get up at 6 a.m., take a walk. You could search the house. You couldn't find a beer or a Playboy or a lighter or a pack of cigarettes. There's nothing. There was nothing in it. You could not find red meat, Playboys, beer, vodka, lighters, cigarettes, nothing. It was your prison cell, Mayhem, had more contraband in it than the fucking house I grew up in North Hollywood. There wasn't anything. He didn't dip tobacco. There was nothing.
I had the whole opposite experience. Like all those items you named, Marlboros and beers and everything, like that was it. But it seems like he was instrumental to your success in an offhanded way. I think everybody who's successful has some complaints about their parents. Yeah. Because you can't just come out of perfect circumstance, then you just become ruined. You know? Right. And so
little adversity.
Yeah.
Yeah. He never. My sister ran away when she was 13 because she wasn't really running away. There was nothing at my house. She just left. And they didn't even look for her because they were like, all right, one less person to have to deal with around here. Yeah, they were hardcore in the not caring department. Wow. Yes. I just threw myself into sports. So I was just playing sports all day, just gone, my dads were my coaches, and then played football, and then I got into construction. I just sort of moved out. And then later on, my dad was actually a good, like he was not a good, you don't want my dad for a dad because you want a dad who does stuff for you, who buys stuff or has money or takes you out to eat or, does stuff. My dad didn't do anything. But later on, as an adult, now that when I was an adult and I had my own money and I took care of myself, then he was a good guy to go to lunch with because he was interesting and had sort of thoughts about psychology, the kind of guy you could have a conversation with, So later on as adults, we had a kind of adult life together, but it wasn't really father and son because he didn't really raise me like a father. It was sort of adult friends, like later on.
Yeah, I get that.
And there wasn't any, there wasn't a lot of baggage because there wasn't much history. I mean, you can go, well, there's, he never, I don't think, probably had 2 arguments with him in my entire life. And I don't even know. But it didn't matter. I could come home with all D's and F's. Like it didn't really matter. I just did whatever I wanted all the time, which is like, it's kind of a two-way street. Like on one hand, it's total autonomy. On the other hand, there's no college money, and there's no first car, and there's no going to space camp, and there's no anything.
He didn't really shape your adulthood. He let you shape your own destiny.
Yeah, he had no influence on me whatsoever.
I think
he's never told me anything.
But in a way, that is an influence.
Yeah.
If he's just letting you freeball it all the time.
You had to earn everything you got, and I think that is part of why you are where you are right now because you realize that very early that you had to get it.
Oh, well, the thing with like me and my sister is like when we were like 12, we're like, oh, we're on our own. We're on our own. We're going to have to figure this out. Figure it out. And you do. You go, I knew sort of the menu at all my friends' house, like when pork chop night was and when meatloaf night was. And that's where I'd go to their house and I would just eat everything their mom made. And so my dad was a very rare combo of being a bad dad in a traditional dad kind of way, like the stuff you want, mixed with a good person, but then sometimes it dips into bad because your kid does need some stuff at like a certain point. My dad, he would, once a year we'd go to JCPenney's and get some Tough Skins. It's not like I lived outside. There was a roof and there was sustenance in the fridge, but it wasn't anything. It wasn't deli meat, sliced cheese or anything. It was nothing. Couldn't make a sandwich. So it was a weird relationship. But the thing about my dad is he never cared about stuff, and you couldn't get him to care about stuff,
That's
which was
super interesting.
Really weird. So I started off, first half of my childhood was football, sports, baseball, football. And I was like, okay, this guy doesn't like football. All right, well, he didn't play football. He didn't play in his high school team or Pop Warner. He didn't grow up. He's from South Philly. So I was like, all right, he doesn't like football. And then later on, it was carpentry, construction, drive a truck. And I was like, well, he doesn't care about building this stuff. I guess he's not a handyman. He doesn't have any tools. So he's not into that. And then later on, it sort of was cars. Like, I love cars. And I was like, he's not a car guy. But at some point, I started writing books. And he read books all day, and he's never read one of my books. What? And then I was like, oh, he's not into anything, is what I realized.
That's so weird to me.
I will tell you the 2 stories, if you want to know my mom and my dad. There's only 2 stories you need to know. But after I tell you, you can't really think they're bad. You just have to think they're detuned like you've never seen in your life. My dad's story is my dad, and there's a million of them, but my dad did like Dennis Prager, the conservative talk show religious Jew. And I did tell him that I was doing speaking dates and events and things like that with Prager. So he would do, it's kind of what my family does, is they would talk through other people. How's Prager? What are you doing with Prager? What's going on with Prager? I'll give you an example. My mom and my dad have never brought up Jimmy Kimmel's name ever to me, ever.
Crazy.
It doesn't matter how many times he hosts the Oscars. It doesn't matter. They've never brought him up. They've never went, I heard your buddy Jimmy's he's hosting the Oscars for a third time. They've never brought his name up, ever. Now, my mom and my dad both have a weird thing with it. So my dad's brought up Prager. How's your buddy with Prager? Doing anything with Prager? You going to go out and... Now, he would never go to a show or anything, but he's just making conversation. You go out and do stuff. I made a full-length movie with Dennis Prager. I've told my dad 23 times. Whenever he brings up Prager, I go, I did a movie with him, 90-minute movie, me and Dennis Prager. We're the only two people. We star in a movie together. And he'd go, okay. And then we talk about something else. And then a month later, he'd go, how's Prager doing? I'm going, I made a movie with Prager if you'd like to watch it. And he'd go, okay. He's never seen the movie. He would never watch this movie. Now, people can say, why didn't you bring him a DVD? And I would have if he ever asked the name of the movie or where he could get the movie. I'd probably say, I could get you one. But he never asked what the name of the movie was. So he's never seen it. So he likes Prager, but I don't know. How, does he like Prager? He likes Prager.
That's very unusual.
But it's also unusual. Like what I'm hearing is doesn't seem like you're seeking his approval. Like you already went beyond that. I stopped telling anyone in my family anything about any stuff I was doing, which at some point my mom used to get pissed off about. Like she'd go, you're on the Tonight Show, last whatever. And I'd go, yeah. And she'd go, why didn't you tell? And I just go, I forgot. But I just
But
never
your mom
told.
cared about stuff? Like she loved hearing about that?
My mom, my dad, now both of them live in North Hollywood. Mm-hmm. I filmed every Man show and every Love Line and every radio show and everything like 4 miles from where they live. My dad has never been inside the studio, looked at the studio, asked about what's going on. He's never taken a tour of it, never been in the audience, never. My mom has done a couple, but it would be mostly, as I think about it, some family members of the stepdad were in from Texas and they wanted to go see a taping of fill in the blank, whatever it is. My dad has never seen the inside of a studio. He's never been on campus. He's never has no idea. My dad wouldn't know. I don't know that he would know. He wouldn't know what Crank Anchors was, or I might not know what the Man Show is. I don't know is the answer. He's never seen any. He's just never consumed anything I've done. But
it's so crazy.
It is bizarre that way, but nice. Which is interesting.
How do you feel about that?
I'm mostly. It's hurtful,
He's
but it's also. It's also kind of. It also. I study it like an anthropologist.
Yeah.
How does this? How I know the thing that always reminds me of Dennis Prager is when I would sit in his living room, his bookshelf would be behind him, and I would see 3 of Prager's books, but I've never seen one of my books on his bookshelf. I know he's never read a book.
Weird.
He's never seen a doc I've made. He's never seen The Man Show. He's never seen Love Line. He's never seen any of it.
So how are you going to feel if now that he passed, you go through his items and there's all your books?
Well, he doesn't.
Rosebud.
The good news is he doesn't have items. There are no items.
Okay.
Literally, my mom has no items.
This
My
guy's
dad
the
has no
Buddha.
items.
Your dad ascended to nirvana yesterday.
I mean, he's going to go and they're going to weigh his heart. And it's like,
Exactly.
hey, dude, you did it.
Yeah.
Next level.
I know.
Yeah, no, there is no book. Well, he has some books and a trumpet, but I bought him the trumpet, so I might have to claim that
That was my
myself.
next question was like, okay, so they didn't really show interest in your thing, but what about like monetary? Like, well, when you got very successful, they say, hey, what's up? Can we have a house now? Or like, can we, you know what I mean? Can I get a new trumpet?
My my dad did ask for a new trumpet.
That's it? Son of a bitch.
I did. That's a good one. My mom and my dad did not care about money. They wanted the basic stuff that money provided, but they did not care about money. And you could tell by the fact they never made any money. They had no pursuit of it at all. They did not start a business. Nobody ever, went to Vegas and bet on black. There was no gambling. There was no discussion of money. My mom never had money. My mom would later on, when I became successful and I was rich essentially, I said to her about my stepdad John. I go what kind of? He worked for Lockheed in the skunk works. So he's in the secret division of Lockheed.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Building stealth shit,
This guy
and
started.
He'd been there for 30 years, And now I'm living up in the hills. I got cars. I got money. I'm rich at this point. So I'm just sitting back in her little house in North Hollywood where her mom's house, let her live there. And I've never discussed money. My mom wouldn't talk about money, wouldn't see money, wouldn't hold money. She was welfare and food stamps. There was no money. There was nothing to discuss. I've never seen my dad with a wad of cash or anything. And so I said to my mom, now I'm an adult and I'm rich. I just go, John, stepdad, I go, what's he pulling down a year over at Lockheed? What is it, 50 grand, 70 grand? And she's married a guy for 30 years. She goes, oh, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. And I go, well, we're talking 100 grand a year? Or are we talking 50 grand a year? And she goes, I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
So
I go,
crazy.
okay, but hold on. This is your husband of 30 years. Is he? I'm not asking for anything. I'm not going to try to borrow money. Is he doing well? He's a he's an electronic engineer, skunk works. Are we talking $175 a year? Are we talking 80? And she got pissed. And she's like, I'm not talking about it. And I'm like, wow,
weird.
why do you have to be so weird?
Yeah.
Her posture was if I found out he was making 170 grand, I would either ask for money or not pay for their new roof, which I did do, because I'd go, well, let fucking John pay for it. He's flush, So my mom was weird and suspicious and angry, and you couldn't talk to her about anything. So my mom and my dad had no money. There's no money discussions. They've never asked me how I'm doing or what my house is worth or did I sell it, what I sell it for. There was no, but now there are also no normal discussions, discussions about things you would talk about in a normal family setting. And one would be money, except for Joe Biden. He has never, ever spoken to his son about his business, ever.
Yeah.
My dad and Joe Biden are the only two dads that have never spoken to their sons about business.
Yeah.
Never. Even when I would take Air Force Two on long overseas flights with my dad, even over cocktails on Air Force Two, we would never bring up our Ukrainian connections.
Unbelievable.
Never. So my dad did not want money, like money, kind of didn't need money.
Can you just call him the big guy from now on?
The big guy. I would break off 10% for the big guy.
Yeah.
But he did want stuff on occasion. He wanted a nice trumpet. He wanted a $3,000 trumpet, but he didn't have trumpet money. And I leased him luxury cars for a little while. I leased him a luxury car because I knew he didn't really have any money and he was probably putting a little burden on my stepmom. So I just paid lease, insurance, everything. I just leased him a new car. And then that 3 years ran out and I leased him a Jaguar. But so sad. What a eulogy. My dad, unlike anybody you've ever met, I will say this. Is there anybody who would do the following? Anybody. My dad is running out of the 3-year lease on the second luxury car. I'm paying whole hog, free car. Now we're getting into year 6. We're into year 6. Okay. He knows the lease is up in 4 months, right? He wants another luxury car for another. So put yourself in this position. And he's coming to he would come, my dad and I would go out to lunch twice a month, maybe, whatever. I don't have nice conversations and stuff. A very friendly, easy guy. He would, and there was never anything with my dad where it's like, oh, son of a bitch, the old lady's up my ass all day and whatever. It's nothing. We just come over like, hey, how you doing? Want to eat lunch? Okay. And we would sit and have a conversation, like a nice conversation, like adult conversation. It was never any fuck this guy or I got in a situation with the IRS or fucking neighbor, this goddamn dog. Like it was nothing. It was just, okay, here we are. And so he show up at my house and he's driving my stepmom's piece of shit Honda CRV. And I kind of looked through the window and I was like, where's that nice Jaguar I lease you? And I go, what are you driving Lynn's CRV for? And he goes, I don't know. It's just in the driveway behind my car or whatever. Okay. It's fine. But I said, how many miles are on the car I lease you? Because I'm paying for 12 a year, right?
Oh, no.
And I know my dad doesn't leave the house. So I got a car that's going to be turned in 3 months. I got 36,000. My dad's at like 13,000 miles or 5,000 miles. And it's like, all you need to know about life is you go 1 kilometer past the agreed upon 36,000 miles, they charge you 50 cents. You turn in a car 20 under, they go, well, thank you.
Yeah.
You go, well, wait a minute. What about our two-way street here?
Yeah.
Nope, that's how it works.
It's crazy.
So I go, Dad, you're way under your mileage, and you got to turn the thing in. You should drive the car. Plus, Lynn's car, you guys own that car. So you're just putting miles on something you own, and you're devaluing it. My car needs miles, and it's free. So drive mine.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, okay. And then he started talking about what his next car was going to be, because we're in negotiations. Well, not negotiation. It was time to get another luxury car. We got an Infiniti, then we got a Jag. Maybe we'll get a Lexus this time. We're talking about 2 weeks later, comes to the house again. There's the CRV car pulling up again. I go, Dad, what are you doing with the CRV? You got a brand new luxury car. It's under miles. It's free. Why don't you try it? Car was behind me in the drive.
He's
I go, what do you... Dad, I'm paying a lot of money for this car, and we got to turn it in. I would drive the car. And then he kind of goes, oh, listen, I didn't know that was part of the terms of the deal, And I go, no, it's not part of the terms. It just would be nice if I saw you pull up in the car.
Use it.
At least he goes, what's the big deal? What difference does it make? And I go, well, it makes a difference to me because I'm leasing you the car. So it doesn't feel good to see you keep pulling up in the crappy CRV and not the car I'm leasing you, especially when we're talking about leasing you a new car. And he goes, what difference does it make? And I said, you can't understand how that would feel. Like if you were leasing me a car and I didn't drive it, I just kept pulling up. And he's like, I drive it. I just didn't drive it to your house a couple times. I go, yeah, but we talked about this. Goes, why is it so important to you? I was like, I said, Dad, let's just say you play jazz with this dude. And he said he wanted you to lease him a trumpet. And he's like, he goes, yeah. I go, all right, you leased the guy a trumpet, but then when Friday night you go to jam, he had his old trumpet, and the trumpet you were leasing was just sitting in his apartment. How would you feel? And he goes, yeah. Okay. Now that you've used the trumpet metaphor,
you got it.
So funny.
He kind of got it. So he dug in, and he was like, look, I don't see, what do we want to do? Put miles on the car, go home and drive it in a circle around the block so we can have more miles on it? I just said, I would appreciate it if you could drive it symbolically when you come to my house. If you could drive the car, I'm leasing you. And he goes, I don't get what you're so obsessed with. Like, I don't get it. And he started really digging in. And I said, well, guess who's not getting another new car? And he goes,
really?
Yep. And he goes, okay.
Oh, man.
And it never came up again.
D2.
Next time I saw him, he's driving the car, he's paying for himself, and it never comes up. Never. It wasn't like we sat and had an angry lunch where he's like, yeah, I'm driving a Kia. Thank you very much. Never brought it up again.
You know,
Could have got a free luxury car. Didn't care.
Yeah.
Never came. He wanted it,
There's something zen about
but
that.
he didn't
but
get it.
you know what?
And it never came up again.
this is painting the picture of Adam Carolla to me. I totally understand why you are the way you are, because it sounds like this man had a certain level of stubborn pig-headedness about him that contributed directly through your genes to your success.
He would.
That's all I'm hearing.
For all his zen, he would dig in sometimes over insanity. And we're literally in my mansion. And I was like going, you are a therapist. You cannot wrap your head around the concept of a son leasing an expensive automobile for a father and him not driving it to his home. And he goes, absolutely not. I have no idea what
That's
you're talking about.
so
I was like,
crazy to me.
that is insane that you don't understand this
That's so
concept.
crazy.
He's like, do not, like, he just dug in.
You don't have to drive it anywhere else. Just when you see me, drive it.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? Just show me that you're using it.
But I was relieved because I was like, good. I just saved myself $900 a month because I do not need to lease you a car now. And he was like, okay. And
my
that was
mother's
that.
like that. She's like, a big reason I had kids, I always want kids, but I want my mother to have grandchildren. So I had kids, and like she won't fly out to see them.
Oh, no
She
way.
came out one time, and I'm like, you gotta come. She's like, no. I go, why? She goes, because, and that's the end of the discussion. because. I'm like, you're getting older. Your grandchildren are growing up. They're gonna eventually get out of that fun, super cute phase.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be like grown ups. You're just gonna miss that
Where's
kind of
she
connection.
coming out from?
Upstate New York.
Well, at least she had to travel a little.
She traveled one time, and I'm thankful for that. COVID messed everything up a little bit, but she won't get on a plane to come see him.
My mom's greatest hit. My dad's greatest hit could be that car lease.
I think so.
I don't know. That's pretty good. But the Dennis Prager thing is pretty good,
Yeah,
too.
definitely.
It's
Now,
so
he
crazy.
found the right woman in my mom. It's my mom's greatest hit. Told the story 10 times, but sorry. It's just the greatest hit. She did not. Now, what my mom would do is she didn't care about comedy. She didn't care about my comedy. She didn't watch a man show. She didn't know any of that stuff. But every once in a while, she'd pick some shitty show and heap praise on it. And I thought it was just to piss me off. She'd go, oh, that Murphy Brown is so funny. Have you seen Murphy Brown? I'm like, have you seen The Simpsons? No, Murphy Brown, so good. She's Candace. Oh, she's so talented. So talented. That's so funny. And I'd go, the man show's funnier than Murphy Brown, but she never would see it. Oh, well, my mom, okay. My mom's greatest hit was never having cable when I had 2 shows on cable. So that was her thing. No one in my family, including my dad, my mom, grandparent, nobody in my family possessed cable.
Unbelievable.
When I had 2 shows on cable, one ran every night for an hour, and the other was the Man Show. It was Love Line, the Man Show. No one in my family had cable, and my mom announced at a dinner table once filled with people from my family, can anyone give me one good reason to get cable? Anybody. One. And everyone just looked at her. And I did too, because I couldn't think of any at the time. And then later on, I got pissed off when I realized I had 2. But it was ironic that she said 1. That's my mom's second greatest hit. But her greatest hit is the Jon Stewart hit. She came in, she walked into the house with my stepdad on a Saturday just to visit, swinging a VCR tape, a VHS tape. VHS tape, swinging it around. Well, she never did. She didn't do any of that. Of course, it's her tape that she taped Oprah with and then tape over and tape over and tape over. And she holds this thing up. I'm on Comedy Central. I'm 10 years into my career. And my mom looks at me and she goes, have you heard of Jon Stewart? Which is also what my family would do, too. Like, they would have no...
So crazy.
My mom was crazy that way. When Trump was the president, I said to her once, yeah, I know Trump a little bit. We're not best friends, but we're friendly. And she goes, you don't know Trump. And I said, yeah, I do know Trump. And she said, yeah, but not now. I said, I do know the president. If I saw him, he'd go, hey, Adam, how's it going? So I know Trump. You don't know. And I was like, hold on, is this a mother trying to talk her son out of knowing the president of the
so
United
weird.
States? Like, why are you doing this? But also, I do know him. Like, why would I say that?
What do you get out of it?
Oh, that's always the big, well, you don't get a luxury car. So my mom said, do you know this Jon Stewart? He's a comedian. I go, yeah, I've heard of him. Now, we have the same agent, James Baby Doll Dixon, and we're both on the same network.
Yeah.
Now, she probably doesn't know I'm on Comedy Central because she doesn't have cable, but Jon Stewart and me are on the same network.
Yeah.
And I've done his show. And I've been to New York and had dinner with him at his house, in his apartment with his wife. Okay. I know Jon Stewart well. So I go, because I don't want to get baited into it. I go, yeah, I've heard of him. And she goes, oh, he's a genius. He's a genius. He said, this is him on Oprah. Amazing. So clever. So funny. I go, yeah, I've heard he's pretty funny. Yo, he's so good. We're gonna have our muffins and we're gonna watch this, right? And we're sitting and we're eating muffins and she's going on about Jon Stewart, about this guy, and he's so fast and he's so witty. And I've been baited and burned many times in these conversations. I don't say anything. If I was doing the Daily Show the following day, I wouldn't have said shit. I just sat there. And just Jon Stewart. I just sat there. Yeah, here he's funny. Got nothing else to add. Not getting into this. I'll get baited. If I get sucked in, she'll burn me somehow. So I just sat there. And at some point, my ex-wife could not take anymore. And she just jumped in and she just went, John's a friend of his and they have the same agent and they're on the same network together. They have dinner together. And my mom leaned back and she went, yeah, John's a little hit and miss. And she put the tape down, and we never brought the tape again.
So
and his name
crazy.
has never come up. It never has. My mom has not left her lips the name. He hosted the Oscars 6 months later. She never said a word.
So
He was
crazy
dead.
to me.
I told Jon Stewart. I found him. I said, "You are dead to my mom. You lost a fan, and I apologize because it's my fault.
Yeah.
It's my fault, John. I told my mom." We were friends, and she's never brought your name up ever again.
Wait,
you are dead to her because
Why?
I know her. I don't. It's like her bizarre, insane low self-esteem
You know what I'm getting?
and stuff, and
there's
whatever it is.
something where your parents were not very successful. You exploded. I mean, I guess I'm putting it light.
No, it wasn't. It was.
But now they want to keep you underfoot.
I can't figure it out.
No. You guys are trying to graft on motive to serial killers. They kill runaway prostitutes for pleasure.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, what? But they didn't rob them. Why didn't they rob them? They didn't rape them? No. They
Yeah.
do it for pleasure. You would be right if she wasn't this way when I was 12.
Yeah.
There was no show business jealousy or, he thinks he's all... He thinks his poop doesn't stink anymore. I'll bring him down. There was none. There were flatlining when I was playing Pop Warner football. That's how they were. They
mental
right
games.
Through.
Is it a mental game or is it
They
just?
just were two
Unself-aware.
people who did not care. They just
they're just
both of them.
unself-aware. They don't realize how they're coming off, and because they just don't care.
No, but what is interesting to me is she was a fan, had the tape of Jon Stewart, was excited, but then once he was a normal human that hangs out with you, she wasn't a fan of him anymore.
She was more aggressive about it. Her mom was loud and horrible, and she got, Child Protective Services, and her mom, Helen, my grandma, was like very aggressive and would yell and tell you were wrong to your face. My mom inherited a lot of it, but in a weird, quiet way. She was quietly rageful and angry and passive aggressive. And my dad was just like a friendly squirrel. You know what I mean? Like he was just hanging out.
So
Now, my dad didn't have an agenda. My mom was passive aggressive, like the Jon Stewart thing.
Yeah.
My dad was kind of genuine. He just was sort of like, he read books, and there were books he read, and then books he didn't read. And if his son had written a book that he would have read, then he would have read it. But if it was a book he wouldn't have read, then he wouldn't have read it, but he wouldn't have factored in who wrote the book.
So
you know what I'm
crazy
saying?
To me, the littlest things my kids do, I get excited about. I mean, my kids in pre-K, they gave her an award for participation. We all show 3-camera shoot. Everybody's super excited. You know,
my daughter, who's in Santa Barbara, going to school, going to college, is telling me that it's parents' weekend, and she wants me to perform at a frat house. And it's Friday night in Santa Barbara. I'm doing Thursday night in Vegas. And I told her I'll fly home Friday morning, and then I'll drive to Santa Barbara and do a set. And then I said to her, how much time? And she goes, I don't know, just like an hour or something. Because I have no fucking idea what an hour is. Yeah. But I was like, I'm busy as shit. I was in Covina doing 4 shows last weekend. Took an hour, 2 hours to drive out there. Yes, Friday night for free. I'm driving to Santa Barbara to go do stand-up in front of God knows what crew.
What you're walking into.
What I'm walking into. I'll have to do a funnel before I hit the fucking stage. And by the way, there's not going to be a stage.
Keg stand.
You're performing on a couch.
She asked me to do it, and I felt like I would like this moment. I would like her to be happy about this.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, she was cool for her. Dad's
Yes.
coming, selling the tickets for $5, give it to charity, whatever. Yes. I'm busy as shit, but
That's
yes,
great.
fine. I'm not
Adam.
Superman. It's just my daughter asked me to do something.
You can't think of one loving memory from old Jim.
My dad was
Old Jim.
old Jim. My dad was a good guy. Do not get it wrong.
No,
even
I
though
get
this
that.
sounds weird. At the end of my civilian life, when I was teaching boxing and swinging a hammer, and I was, I had no insurance and I had no anything, and I got real sick for like 2 weeks and was in bed. I didn't have a doctor. I didn't have prescription meds. I couldn't do anything to just sweat in bed for like 2 weeks. My dad said to me, he said, shouldn't you have like $1,000 or something just like in the bank, like just for something, like for this, like when you can't go to work? I was teaching boxing, I was swinging a hammer, I wasn't getting paid.
Right.
I was down for 2 weeks. Girlfriend's car blew a head gasket in front of my house. She couldn't move her car. We didn't have any money. It was like everything was all busted down. He said, shouldn't you, you're 29 3/4. Like you should have $1,000 somewhere for something. And I just said, Dad, I'm either going to make it or I'm not. And to save $2,500 would be real hard for me. So I'm just going to count on making it.
I love that.
And being rich. And then if I was rich and look back at all the struggle of saving up $2,000 and all the pizzas I didn't eat and all the beer I didn't buy, then I'd be bummed out because $2,000 would be nothing to me now. So I'm just going to bet on myself. And he would give me, back in those days, every once in a while, if we had lunch or something, he'd give me like $20. Like it was like, he wouldn't give me the $1,000. I don't know if he had the $1,000. He wouldn't go, I'll do the $1,000.
Was that what he
became a therapist?
Okay.
Way later in his life, he became a therapist. He volunteered at the prison. So he was kind of had a philanthropic something. He had a help people kind of gene. He was good at therapy. He had some blind spots like with luxury car leases and stuff like that. But he would talk to you, if you had a problem or whatever. He was good at sorting things out. You would definitely say he was a good dude. You just wouldn't want him to be in charge of you when you were young, when you wanted a go-kart and, hockey equipment or something. Like you weren't getting anything.
That's so interesting.
He was my mom and my dad are unlike any two human beings I've ever met in my life. I've had the jealous and the petty and the substance abuse and the one that, your dad wanted to be a radio star, so when you made it on the radio, he always resented. No, none of it. There was none of that. He didn't know any of it. he wasn't that way. If he was that way, he would have shown up to the man show. Hey, my son over here, huh? Big shot. And then tried to get a little bask in a little reflective
love.
glory.
Get a little peace.
Couldn't be bought. No, none of it. Made it to 93. Mom made it to 89, you know?
Now that
Pretty good.
both your parents have passed, does it like give you some perspective on your own mortality?
Well, it definitely means you're getting old. That's for sure. I mean, it makes you look. I had a long talk with my sister last night. She called me at 11:30 last night, and kind of when the phone rang, I knew what the call was, and she kind of just went like, yeah, just he wasn't a good dad, but he was a decent enough guy or whatever. And what you do is you go, Jesus Christ, if my two kids ever say that about me, you know what I mean? If they just go, well, Adam, yes, not really a good dad, but he liked cars, or he was okay, or something, I would kill myself.
I think I'd be crushed.
You'd be crushed, right?
I'd be
It's just like,
crushed.
who cares?
See,
But you always
weird.
wonder if your kids understand the sacrifice that, especially when they're really young, of what you're doing for them.
They don't, because they only keep track of the bad shit, like chicks.
Yeah.
They don't keep track of any of the good stuff.
Yeah.
They don't keep track of any of the good stuff. But at a certain point, it comes down to tangible things. Like when you miss somebody, or somebody passes on, somebody leaves your life. You go, okay, first things first. Do I need this person? Like, who's paying the rent? Who's making my car payment? Like, is there any part where you need the person? And with my family, that's an easy one. Check it off. They didn't do anything. My family, as much as they would like to gripe, like kids do, about their dad, they're still going to have to admit that the house they grew up in and the car they ended up driving and the places, my son's been to Japan twice. He's 18. I paid for it.
Yeah.
So whatever shit he's talking, he's still been to Japan 2 times before his 20th birthday. So with me, there's a version of that, except there's no receipts. I never went to Japan. I never had a car. There's no college. My kids have college funds, insurance, whatever. They've been places. You know what I mean? So maybe there's an emotional argument, but there will be receipts. You did grow up in this house. You did grow up in this neighborhood. You did go to Europe. You did fly in a private jet. It was Mark Garrigus' jet, but you still got on it.
Still a great jet.
I knew enough to suck up to him. So it does. You do think, what are they going to say about you when that phone call comes? When my daughter calls my son at 11:30 one night and says, "Dad's gone." What is the following conversation? I would like some tears and not a lot of, he had his moments. Yeah, I don't want any of that. I want good dude.
Yeah, I want tears. I want, thank God he was our dad.
Oh, I want take me.
Yeah.
I want yelling into the heavens. Take me.
Oh, I see.
Yes, take me into the heavens. Dear Lord, take me.
How will we go on?
That's what I want. All right. We got the news. I got something to get into because Sam's wearing his Dodger gear.
I love it.
All right. We'll do all that right after this.
Hey, I'm Adam Carolla. That's Brad Williams and Jay Leno.
Hey, everybody.
Over there, we're doing our 3rd annual comedy fantasy camp. That's going to be January 23rd through the 26th, right in Hollywood, California. Where else would it be? These guys are going to be there.
So remember, 2 out of every 3 comics make it big.
Well, 1.5.
Do I get paid for this? Please tell me I get paid for this.
Go to comedyfantasycamp.com and get in on the fun.
Old school security systems only act once somebody's already in your home. Simply Safe, well, has changed all that. New Active Guard outdoor protection stops crime before it starts. Live monitoring agents keep watch outside of your home for anyone loitering or acting suspicious. LiveGuard can see, speak to, and scare off with a loud siren and spotlight anyone who's out there monkeying around where they shouldn't be. Simply Safe cameras, AI ignores friendly faces, family, neighbors, dog walkers, all the good citizens, while alerting agents to threats. Starts at only about $1 a day. No hidden fees, no long-term contracts. You can cancel anytime. These guys have been a sponsor for years on the show, and we all use it here. And you can save 50%. Just my listeners, 50% off. Just visit simplysafe.com/Adam. That is simplysafe.com/Adam. Right, Dawson?
This offer is only valid for 1 week, so visit the website now, simplysafe.com/Adam. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Bioptimizers, magnesium breakthrough. Well, you know, if you're getting enough magnesium, because 4 out of 5 Americans aren't, and that affects your sleep and your mood and all the other things you need. And then your sleep affects your mood. So it becomes a vicious cycle. Since I added magnesium breakthrough to my nightly routine, I fall asleep with no problem and I wake up refreshed. Other magnesium supplements might give you 1 or 2 forms of magnesium. Magnesium breakthrough contains all 7 forms of magnesium. All Bioptimizer supplements are best in class, and you can get a full refund if you don't love it. No questions asked. And if you disagree, they offer a 365-day money-back guarantee. So that's a company that's pretty confident in its product. It's not a 10-day trial exchange. It is a 365-day money-back guarantee. I take it every night before I go to bed. It's a game changer. Buy Optimizers. Am I right, Dawson?
Don't miss out on the most relaxing sleep with Magnesium Breakthrough. For an exclusive offer, go to buyoptimizers.com/Adam and use promo code Adam during checkout to save 10%. And if you subscribe, not only will you get amazing discounts and free gifts, you will make sure your monthly supply is guaranteed.
They're trying to get us all to fight with each other all the time. This divide and conquer shit, right? Like, remember when everybody was getting mad at gay pride parades? People got so mad, they decided to start a straight parade. You know what straight parades sound like to me? Gay as fuck.
Sam Tripoli is on the Adam Carolla Show.
All right. Sam here. Special is out as we speak. SamTripoli.com. Yeah.
Why is everybody getting quiet? It's on Rumble. It's on samtripoli.com and Twitter. Not going to put it on YouTube because they'll just shadow ban it to the dark realm. So why even bother?
That is
All
the
right,
thing.
now it makes sense because I was saying it. I kept saying to Joe Prano, I was like, is it on YouTube? He's like, not on YouTube, just on samtripoli.com. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
Really? But it's on other platforms.
Yeah, I mean,
but
I get a
not
lot.
YouTube.
I get a lot of love on Twitter. I get no love on YouTube and no love. I have on Instagram. I have 124,000 followers on Instagram. I put a post up the other day, 25 likes. I go,
wow.
How is that even possible?
Why is that?
Well,
Because I talk mad shit.
every time that you show up on my YouTube, there's a thing that says reptilian something or another underneath. It's like a community note. I'm like, what the hell? And I watched the video and you didn't even talk about that.
Yeah.
They like are following you around.
Oh, yeah.
I think they
sure.
are the reptilians
Yeah,
then, huh?
100%.
Oh, God,
These
now I'm
Anunnakis,
imagining-
bro. These Sumerians.
Oh, jeez.
all right. I have something that's going to put a smile back on your face.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
So my dog died this afternoon.
Gee.
Damn. Oh, my God.
Listen,
bro.
for the record, my dad was a good guy. You
Yes.
just wouldn't
We
want
get
him
it.
to be your dad. I don't know how else to say it.
I get it.
And by the way, everyone who does a thing, they do with me, they go, why are you talking shit? It's like, why are you acting this way? I mean,
Yeah.
and listen, I'm allowed to report truths.
Yep.
Whether it's COVID or my dad. If you'd like to avoid it, don't act a certain way or don't do a certain thing. Because what I'm not allowed to do is embellish.
Yes, I agree.
But
Dave.
I may speak about actual. I'm talking shit about my mom, except for I just gave you verbatim her walking through my front door with
Yeah,
Jon
yeah,
Stewart. Now,
yeah.
she didn't have to do that.
I agree.
But she did it. So
My
now
dad
I'm
is
reporting
like
it. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
My dad is like that. It's like, I know we're going to move on, but it's like, I look at my father's life. I think he did everything wrong, so I wouldn't repeat it. So it's like, we're allowed to say that because they have a big influence on our life, whether it's impactful or doing nothing.
I literally just did the opposite of everything my family ever did, and it was my key to success.
Damn.
I remember saw what they did, and you did the opposite.
I remember one time when I was moving out of one house into another house, and I was like, should I sell this house or should I rent it? And I was talking to my mom, and I go, I'm thinking about renting the house, but I don't know if I might sell it, I might rent it. She goes, you rent it. You never know. A bunch of bikers could move in, start cooking meth. So you don't think it's a good idea to rent? Well, people come in, they sue you, they mess the place up. And I go, or you have income, and the value goes up. She goes, I don't know. People coming in there, I wouldn't rent. I was like, thank you, Mom. Thanks for the advice.
You put it up.
Rented the fucking house.
Yeah.
Made a bunch of money. Yeah. So it works. You know what I'm saying? Listen, Jimmy does that with me in the Super Bowl. He goes, who do you like this year? I go, why? I want to bet the opposite. I got a whole team of guys blowing my phone up around the Super Bowl wanting to know how to bet. It was a bet the opposite of the team I picked. All right. Dodgers. You're excited about the Dodgers.
Love them.
You watched the game, and they had the replay at the plate.
Yes.
Head first slide. Look from the one angle, especially like the hand slid in under the shin protector, and it looked like he was safe. In real time, looked like he was thrown out. In the replay, which they looked at 5 different angles, it looked like he touched the plate and the hand slid in under the thing. And then they reviewed it, and they said he was out. And then they did this one, which I heard the commentator say, which always drives me nuts. It always drives me nuts in football because I watch a lot of football, but I guess it applies in baseball too. They go, it looks like he got his hand in under the shin guard, but it may not be enough to overturn the call on the field. And I'm like, what do you mean enough?
Yeah.
Just look at the replay and make the call. You don't need 55%, or you just need safe or out.
Keep it simple.
Do not weigh in the missed call. We're only looking at this because there was potentially a bad call.
Right.
So what they do is they go, well, he looks safe, but not enough. And so my feeling is, this is where the replay gimp comes in. I do not want the person on the field to know the original call. I want them just to look at the footage and safe or out.
You mean the people back at the booth? You don't want them to look, or you want
the people back at the booth know the call.
Okay.
So there's a gimp in a box. He's not watching the game
at all.
He's in the stadium. He's not watching the game at all.
He's in the stadium. He's in the stadium.
Yeah.
We got the music.
You take him out of the box.
Dawson, I think, couldn't have seen this one coming.
Yeah.
But we got the replay, Gimp. The music. Now, so they throw the flag. They throw the red flag, and you hear this in the stadium. Dawson, come on. We knew this one was coming.
Oh, man,
right?
that's crazy.
Are you looking at the play?
Yeah.
All right.
8
All right, we
different
don't have it.
languages.
He's just
We do have it.
sliding in.
All right.
Up.
So you
Open
see
the
the red.
box.
Pull it back, Dawson, for a second. We're a well-oiled machine here. You hear, you see the red flag. You see the coach. You can start it. Go ahead, Dawson. Start from the beginning. You start it. You see the red flag. Don't replay it, please. It distracts everyone. Stop that. All right, hold on. Let's see if we can work this out. Dawson, you can just start it when I cue you. How about this? There's a play at the plate. He's called safe or out. And then at some point, you see the skipper come out or the football coach. I think it's more football. And he throws the red flag. And then you hear. Almost. And the crowd goes nuts.
Everyone
the crowd
loves
goes nuts. And the Gimp,
replay Gimp,
who's got
Everyone
the 3 hot chicks,
Yep.
they run him like they
it.
run the Buffalo of
Yes.
Colorado. And they just run him. And first the light fucks him up. Right?
because he's been in the box.
Yeah.
All right. So he comes out and he's got the hood on and everything is like, and the hot chicks, dressed in like tight leather and stuff, and they're running him out and they're flogging him. They're flogging him with his leash. They're pulling him. They're pulling him by the Gimp leash, and they're flogging him. He's running out. And he's disoriented. And the crowd's going.
Yanked by the chain. By the chain, right?
Yeah. He's being pulled. Being pulled. And then at some point,
I'm guessing he's bent over into a video village.
He
sort
goes
of
under
thing.
the-
Oh yeah,
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 under the
yeah.
hood,
He goes up.
okay?
He's bent over into the
Yeah,
thing.
He goes under the hood. Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes
a
under,
pommel horse situation.
he goes under. And then he comes out and he does the safe or the out or whatever.
No, I was thinking they would
they-
unzip his mouth.
Slowly
unzip
take
his
the
mouth,
ball gag
and then
out.
he gives it.
And it's a
You're right.
big
No,
presentation.
this is why we workshop these ideas. Yeah.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
he does in his Gimp voice, sure. Now, or touchdown or out of bounds or whatever that is in the big Gimp voice, right? And then if he makes the bad call, if he makes a call against the crowd, like this was in Yankee Stadium, so if he goes out, the crowd starts booing, and the chicks really
Beat the
start
shit
beating
out of him,
just
yeah.
start beating him as they run him back to
Because
his
he doesn't
cage.
know what the correct
Yes.
answer.
No,
Yeah.
he doesn't
What,
know.
what
He doesn't
was
know.
called?
He doesn't know where he is.
Yeah, he doesn't know what teams are playing.
He's disoriented. He doesn't even know what baseball is. He doesn't know anything. He's just saying what he sees, And then he gets flogged and he goes back and
I'm in.
every stadium will have their own Gimp. When that red flag went out, Dawson. Yeah, you got to look, otherwise I won't be able to do this part. When that red flag went out and that music kicked in, the fucking place
Goes nuts.
goes nuts. They'd be praying for close plays
Yes.
at the plate or in the back of the end zone or whatever that is.
The way the Angels went crazy for the rally monkey, we would go crazy for the replay Gimp.
Yes.
Replay Gimp.
Yeah, they go nuts.
And then you could do a whole story of the choosing of the replay Gimp, like who gets, because maybe they have a couple people that are interested in being Gimp.
They would have to keep their identities.
Yes.
We wouldn't.
Yes.
We couldn't know who they were, like mascots.
Be a new class of people, 21, 26. It's like 3 generations. I'm a 3rd generation replay Gimp.
And the crowd would almost root for a call that went against their team just for the flogging aspect of it. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
They could. People throwing beers at him as he's going back through
And
the
he's
tunnel
loving
and dumping
it. It's
stuff
like he's
on
living
there.
his best life.
He's doing a kind of Quasimodo thing, it's like, and they would stop, before the tunnel, and people would shower him with beer bottles and stuff, and then they'd flog him and pull him back.
No, you have the kids whip him too, like extra, getting even weirder with it.
Yeah.
And then you'd have protests of people who want to get rid of the Gimp.
Pam Anderson would not be a fan.
She's like, free the Gimp, let him live his best life.
And then you'd have kids showing up as Gimps to the stadium, like people dressed as Gimps, and then the commentators would go, like, that's crossed the line.
And then, you'd have Gimps going to school, reading to kindergartners. People would be upset. Why is the Gimp reading to the kids?
Gimp bobblehead night.
Gimp bobblehead night.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it'd be huge. It'd be huge. I don't know if you know Goodell or any of the guys over there, but
I think based on Goodell's face, I think he'd be into a Gimp. That's all I gotta say.
You think he'd be into it?
Oh yeah, according to John Gruden's emails, I think he'd be into a Gimp.
By the way, the Gimp idea is Rich Eisen from the NFL Network. It's his favorite idea of all time. I've told that guy, every time I see that guy, he goes, replay Gimp. And then he starts laughing like an insane person.
He's on the network.
I know. I could get Rich to get this thing done. All right. What do we got here? We got some
news.
All right.
TMZ reporting Gisele Bundchen pregnant with Joaquim Valente's child. As we well know, 44-year-old Giselle's pregnant and expecting her first child. Joaquim, sources close to the model confirmed to TMZ, were told she's about 5 or 6 months along in her pregnancy.
Never let your chick buy jujitsu, guys. Never let them buy the jujitsu, guys.
As a jiu-jitsu black belt, I would say, keep your girl away from me.
100%.
Tom Brady.
Like, what chance does any of us have if Tom Brady's getting cheated on?
I know.
Like, what do you have to do to be like, you got the best, you're going to have it?
Yeah. It's impossible. If they can cheat on him, they can cheat on all of us.
And it just gets to this thing in our society. It's just like, in a weird way, women have won. Like there's no rules. They can do whatever they want. And then at some point they'd be like, yeah, I'm not like that anymore. And don't judge me by all that stuff I did willingly back in the day.
Yeah, there's no guardrails anymore.
There's no guardrails. It is just go around, do whatever you want. Like, especially when you see how like the magazines treat a woman who gets caught cheating on her man versus a man who gets caught cheating on his wife. Mm-hmm. Like if it's a man cheating on a wife, he's done. You remember who was it? That one singer. He had that gorgeous black wife, and he cheated on her, and his album just tanked. Robert something. I forget.
Yeah, you can't. If you're white and you're a dude, you can't cheat on your black wife or girlfriend.
His career tanked. And then you go the other way, they're like, he just didn't care enough about her.
Listen, I'll give the ultimate flip the script. You got to get divorced to really experience this. But the version of you go out, make all the money, buy everything, pay for everything, and do everything, and your partner doesn't do jack shit. And if you had that, and there's a lot of these arrangements, divorce or not, where the woman just hangs out and the dude's rich.
Yeah.
And the dude's out working and hustling and getting his thing on, and she's like doing a little charity work and eating sushi and has the maid, has the dog walker, has the nanny, has the cleaning crew on Sundays and stuff. If you did that, you'd be a fucking pariah.
Yeah, 100%.
You'd be a piece of shit. When you walked into the room, we would turn our backs. We would turn our backs and face the other way because there's no such thing. Because I would go, you have a cleaning crew? Yeah. You have a dog walker? Yeah. You have a nanny? Yeah. Do you have a job? No. What the fuck are you doing all day?
Yeah, what are you doing all day? It was like that. They would always have this on Jerry Springer, where like a guy would bring his wife in, and she'd basically bang the entire neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And she's like, "You didn't show me any attention." He's like, "Cause I was working all the time. I had to go to work constantly to pay the bills."
Work is a weird thing now that there's no more coal mines. I don't think women can wrap their mind around indoor work,
What is the definition of work now?
Well, a guy would come home covered in coal dust and throw his boots down and his lunch pail down and collapse on the sofa and take the cash he made, put it on the dresser. And that was like, that fucking dude's getting meatloaf and a blowjob.
Yeah.
Now, you did a set at Dingleberry's? Who gives a shit?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
All the time. You just podcast. That's all you do.
You drink a beer and make fun of Asians, and that's your job. That's work?
Yeah.
Real tough
That's
job.
A great point,
You
dude.
sit with Jimmy and write fart jokes all day. That's tough.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're totally right, dude.
And by the way, you didn't pay for this. Apple Pay paid for it.
Yeah.
Totally true. Money's invisible, and work's air conditioning, and it's not really.
I had a long time ago, I had a relationship and we were trying to save it. And so we weren't married, but we went to therapy. And the girl got really mad because I wanted kind of the part of the tradition, which was I was out working all the time, come home to a meal and be taken care of and show appreciation and take care of the kids. And the female therapist thought that was like, I was being male chauvinist from the 1950s. I go, but none of you are complaining that I'm paying for everything like a man from the 1950s.
Yeah, look, you either make money and give it to the maid and give it to the chef and give it to the dog walker and or you don't make money and you do that shit yourself.
Yeah.
That's it. It's pretty simple. It's time honored. My grandmother and grandfather back in the 60s, 70s, had to flip the script relationship. My grandmother worked at the VA. She had to go in every day as a counselor, whatever the fuck she did over the VA. She had to go to Westwood. They lived in North Hollywood.
Damn.
And my grandfather didn't have a job. My grandmother spent the entire day cooking and fixing the sprinklers and going to the supermarket and cleaning. If my grandmother walked through the house and saw a fucking maid in there and him watching TV, she would have been like, what the fuck am I paying this bitch for? Get off your ass. I'm at work all day. Go. He knew it. He was scared shitless of her. We all knew it. And I mean, the look on that guy's face, she walked through the door at 6 p.m. within 30 seconds of 6 p.m. She worked at the VA. They just fucking punched out right at
bang.
5, sat on the 405. If she walked through that door and dinner wasn't on the table, the look in his face, total and utter fear. Yeah. Also, the only good thing about therapy with a woman, it never works. But the only good thing is you can get a little peek into a curtain of what they think about, and you can hear stories that you're like, what?
Yeah.
That's your version of this?
I know.
Like where you go, oh, that's the version of this that's in your head?
Yeah.
Because I would have never known it if we didn't sit in here. I heard one of these. I was in with my ex-wife, and at some point, talking about me being a dick or something, and she goes, well, let's not have, another situation like what happened with our daughter, when we're went camping over in the extra house or whatever thing. And I go, what are you talking about? She goes, remember when we went to Kevin Costner's house? Okay, you can stop right there. I don't have any of those stories, but yeah, we went to Costner's house, right? Because I played a benefit for the troops, and then he dug my shit, and so we became friends. Yeah. So he invited us to his acreage in Ventura County. Yeah, he has a guest house. Yeah. Remember we went and we hung out with Costner all day? Yeah. And he threw 50-yard bombs to my son, like field of fucking dreams. Yeah. I go, yeah. And then we had dinner at his house with him and his wife. I go, yeah. And then we got back to the cabin. I go, yeah, I remember that. And then you wanted to leave? I go, yeah, I do remember wanting to leave and sleep in my own bed. Right. Remember, your daughter started crying. Remember that? I go, yeah, kind of. But then she goes, well, that's trauma. I go, well, wait a minute. But we stayed, right? We slept over? Yeah, we stayed, but come on now.
Oh,
I go,
damn.
Well, wait a minute, hold on. Is this story that we went to Kevin Costner's house? He threw the ball in, we had dinner, and then we stayed at his cabin, and then I wanted to leave. I was like 10 o'clock at night. I just go, look, I don't want to stay in the cabin. We'll be home in an hour and a half. But my daughter goes, no, we're staying. And I went, okay, fuck it, we'll stay. And we stayed.
Yeah.
That's the story?
Yeah.
What side of the ledger is that story?
That's trauma.
And by the way,
how did that?
Well, the thing about therapy,
if you go to therapy, you can find out that story's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Somehow, it's kind of insane, but it's there.
do we fantasize that there was a time where Dad would have the say of that we're going? Was there a time, or is that just an illusion that we're sold on?
I think. Well, first off, you have to sort of deconstruct things. Like, how do I know Kevin Costner? I know Kevin Costner because when I was 22 and making $9 an hour swinging a hammer on a construction site, I thought to myself, I'm going to pay for a Groundlings class. There's got to be better than this out there for me. That's how I first met Kevin Costner. I thought to myself, I got to get off this fucking construction site and into something I want to do. That was the beginning. Mm-hmm. At some point, after I had a career, I agreed for free to go to the Reagan Library in Simi Valley on a Sunday night and entertain the troops for no compensation, even though I was busy as shit, because I agreed to do a charity.
Yeah.
Then I met him there, and that was, 28 years later. But that's how I met Kevin. I only met Kevin Costner because I was doing charity for the troops. And then I impressed Kevin Costner enough that he decided he liked me and he wanted to invite us to his home. Not me and my girlfriend. I could have said, Kevin, how about my guma? How about I just come by solo and we have a few pops? And we'll go to the local watering hole. I'll be in there with Costner. Don't worry. There's going to be some sloppy seconds here. There's going to be some runoff here. Now, I then said to my family, good news, we've been invited to Kevin Costner's ranch to spend the night and take the kids. And Costner was a mensch. We rode bikes. He threw my son's got an arm on him. 30-yard bombs or 60-yard bombs. But that's the only reason we're there is because it's something that our dads would have never done in a 200,000 million years. You know what I'm saying? And yes, I should have at that point been able to say, Dad would like to sleep in his own bed tonight. Also, Dad's on the road all the time, so sleeping at home is kind of a thing. And yes, family could have gone along with that, but no. We had a Mexican standoff in Costner's cabin, and then that went down as a loss for Dad.
Yeah,
because he said he wanted to sleep. Dad took the L because I wanted to sleep my own bed,
and you still,
and I gave it up.
Yeah, and you still got shit for it, even though you took the L that night and agreed to stay.
Well, it was very traumatic.
That's right, very traumatic. You guys remember hanging at Costner's house?
Back to the news. Jeff Bezos
news.
defends Washington Post decision to stop endorsing presidents days before election. So long and short of it is that, right before the election, Jeff Bezos just decided, oh, no, we're not going to endorse any presidential candidate.
They just know that this thing is so done. The only hope is some kind of rigging going on. It's so, if you're actually watching the traders, the trading, it's like 30-point blowouts. And that's why he's like, why are we going to put our name on a dying cow?
Yeah, well, also, I do believe that these publications have realized that they've lost all credibility.
Yes.
There's no business model here. I wouldn't listen to anything that came out of Los Angeles Times ever, or the New York Times ever, or even CNN. I don't believe it. You traded your credibility. You started to lose it during Hunter Biden's laptop, and then you completely lost it during COVID. You have no fucking credibility anymore, and you need to start trying to claw some of it back.
I would say they lost it during Hillary versus Trump and Hillary versus Bernie, where we saw this kind of moment where everybody, Bernie was playing stadiums and Hillary Clinton was putting Sam Tripoli numbers into a cafe. You know what I'm saying? And we're told that they're neck and neck, and it was the first time what we saw and what they were telling us was starting to diverge.
Don't you think that it's always been this way, and now because of the internet we get this information?
Well, yeah, now we can all talk and be like, this doesn't make sense.
And there's more misinformation out there where we don't even know what's true anymore.
Well, they don't want you to know. That's the ultimate demoralization. You don't know who to trust and what, and that's kind of the game. Like after the Trump assassination, within 5 minutes they had 3 guys. It could be any of these 3 guys. Like, how do you know that? 5 minutes after this thing happened, it could be one of these 3 guys. And I was like, oh, they're just, if they can't control it, they're flooding it. They're just flooding it.
So I think these publications are going to have to start tacking back toward the center and not know they're just sort of bought and paid for by the Democratic Party, because that's not a great business model for them. So maybe, the LA Times did this. Yeah. Probably over different reasons. Bezos is probably. And then they're going to have all the hardcore nut jobs quit or whatever. And they're going to have to just sort of purge it and get back to something.
Cut the dead weight and get back to just giving the news. That they really have to go, okay, we've lost the narrative. We've lost their trust. We're going to have to spend time bringing them back in.
I've said, interesting thought experiment. I've said to almost everyone in this building, if I'd asked you about CNN 10 years ago, what would you say? They'd go, I don't know, news, whatever. I said, if you asked them today, would you believe me? They go, I'd have to look at. I'd have to do some more, whatever on it. But that means you've lost your.
Yeah, isn't it sort of a product of the culture, though, that anybody who wants to go into journalism now is either one way or another because they're hyper-partisanized by the culture, by the internet, by everything that we do.
If you go one way or the other. If you go hard right, hard left, there's a lot more business than down the middle.
Down the middle.
Because engagement drives traffic.
And that's the scary part.
How about this, Adam? I agree. Rachel Maddow, whose batting average is worse than Aaron Judge in the World Series right now, is back on Russian collusion.
Yeah.
She just had a big thing the other day where I forgot the name of the lady. They were just like, Russia's probably going to interfere with this election. I'm like, how are you allowed to say that when you burnt all the trust you had pushing? Oh, dude, they're going to hit our energy grids. Completely wrong about everything.
Yeah, the Nord Stream pipeline, and it is weird with a straight face because you can put together a 2-hour montage of these people going, "You get the vaccine stops.
Yeah.
You don't get infected, you don't spread the infection, it stops." With such pomposity and conviction, right there. It's never ending. It's weird. They're like fighters that get knocked out and come right back and fight the next week and have no thoughts about it.
Way back in the day, Louis Anderson used to talk about comedy. Comedians would decide what's funny, and then at some point, the suits took over, and then people were creating entertainment, not to entertain the people, but to entertain the suits and give the suits what they wanted.
Yes.
And I feel like that's what happened to the news. Like, the news is only saying what their bosses want to hear instead of telling us what we need to know.
Yes.
Well, here's a fun one. Carlos Mencia gave a full moon at a comedy gig. Just straight pulled his ass cheeks out. Yeah, a couple was being rude at a stand-up set, and he dropped his pants, took a bow, and showed him his bare ass.
I have a theory with mooning and BAs.
All right.
Guys with hairy asses don't do it. We live in shame. We live in shame. Guys with smooth brown asses do it all the time.
You're right.
They do it all the time. Like, they just will do it if your ass
and it's not even a good ass to moon, dude.
I know.
I mean,
my ass is too white and too hairy to whip it out.
That thing has dents in it. Look at it; it's got dents in it.
I don't know. Maybe he's using the wrong filter.
I don't know, bro. But but why is this a story? It's so crazy.
The thing about the BA is the bare ass is fine and almost adolescent and no problemo. But if you get the BS involved with the BA, now we're in trouble, which is backsack. Backsack takes BA from fun and games to scarring, to a mental scarring.
You get on a list if you get the scrote.
Yeah, you get backsack, we got an issue.
But it's also so interesting in our society because let's say that's a hot chick doing that. Yeah. There is real currency in that. Think about that. What that must do to your mind going, if I take this off, I make a lot of money and everybody celebrates me. Yeah. The weird kind of power that is. And then he does the same thing. And now he's just getting annihilated.
But that's the rules. The naked chick is sexy. Naked dude is funny. So that's the way it goes.
Or traumatizing.
Yeah, that's trauma.
Also, Mencia,
do some squats if you're going to do that.
Mencia's turning into the Mexican Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think you could see, look at that picture.
He is.
You put an afro on him and go, that's Neil deGrasse Tyson was doing a set.
Yeah. Just an astrophysicist talking about how many genders there are.
Oh, yeah.
I feel guilty in a way because, I was the guy that went, hey, Rogan, that guy did a joke just like yours. He said, what did you say? And then he went in and did that incident, the famous YouTube.
You kicked that off?
I was there. I was outside in the parking lot smoking a joint with Ari Shaffir. Yeah,
what?
Allegedly.
Ari Shaffir smokes marijuana cigarettes?
He does.
Well, wait a second. You were at Ground Zero for that?
That night. Yeah, I heard a commotion and didn't know that was a big drama until a million years later.
Well, what's crazy about that is that is a great example of your ego is not your amigo. If Carlos Mencia doesn't walk on stage, we're in a totally different timeline.
I know, you're right. Yeah.
Well, so what happened?
He did a voice that Joe did. That was the only thing that I was like, wow, that was exactly like.
You saw Joe set that night?
I saw Joe set that night, and then later on, Mencia came on and went, did that same kind of tard voice that Joe did. And I was like, oh, wow, that was just like Joe.
Wait a minute, I'm the grandfather of the tard voice.
Yeah,
exactly.
Jesus Christ. And also would do that.
But Joe was also the premise was something, it was very similar.
So
I don't remember
went
exactly
out to you were blowing spleef with Ari in the parking lot.
And I just mentioned to Joe, hey, man, he did a joke just like yours. And I was like, I was like young, like 22 or something. And I was just
Young
like,
Mayhem.
Yeah, young Mayhem was, I was just shocked that, I thought that you weren't allowed to do that.
You're technically not.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I didn't know the whole comedic. I was like I watched Comedy Central, but I wasn't like,
What happened
I was a little
was
kid. I was fighter.
Joe introduced the next comic, which was Kurt Fox, who's opening for Carlos Mencia as he opens for Carlos Mencia.
Yeah.
And then, like an idiot, Carlos comes on stage, and the reason Carlos lost, everybody, is, well, right now he won't admit he did it. And I like Carlos. I root for him. He won't admit he did it. And then they found out he wasn't Mexican. And in those communities, that's a big deal, dude.
Yeah.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm the opposite. I find out you are Mexican, I don't like you. So then Joe goes up on stage?
Yeah.
While Mencia is on stage and confronts him?
He calls him out, okay, so he brings up Kirk. Kirk goes up on stage. Carlos walks right on stage, grabs the mic from Kirk, starts screaming at Rogan. Rogan comes back on stage. Young Rogan comes back on stage, and then all chaos breaks loose.
How was it filmed?
Joe was kind of ahead of his time of doing these like video blogs, and Brian Redband, who he met in Ohio, just was filming everything.
Yeah, Redband was everywhere, always with that camera.
That's early for
it was real
grabbed
early. It was
on
like a long
tape.
time ago.
Yeah?
So you were the typhoid Mary of that whole...
I always do the same thing. I'm the COVID guy. I guess that's some...
Wow.
In other news, Joe Rogan.
Hold on. 'Cause now we got Susan Olsen out there. And she's been waiting for a while.
Okay.
All right. So Sam, let me give you a plug.
Thank you, buddy.
Website, samtripoli.com. That's where the special is. Why is everyone... Wait, sorry. Why is everybody getting quiet? Sorry, it's handwritten, so it's all good, dude. A little tough.
There we go.
All right, there it is. Go watch that. It's full hour.
Yeah, it's 51 minutes.
That's good enough. Oh, we got Neil deGrasse Tyson and Mencia's picture.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. And that's a young Neil deGrasse Tyson.
It is,
because he's gotten sloppy since.
A little sloppier. Yeah. All right, we'll take a break. We'll talk to radio personality, podcaster, and obviously you know her from the Brady Bunch as well, Susan Olsen, right after this. O'Reilly Auto Parts. They're in the business of keeping your car on the road. They offer friendly, helpful service and parts and knowledge that you need to maintain all the repairs and keep your car running smoothly. I've always been a fan of O'Reilly. I remember when I lived up in La Crescenta in my rented house with all my roommates, and I'd work on my Isuzu Trooper, and then later on my Toyota Supra. And I would go up to the O'Reilly up on Foothill, and that's where I got all my know-how and I got all my parts. They've got thousands of parts and accessories in stock, either in the store or online, so you're never in a jam. The team at O'Reilly Auto Parts can test your battery for free, and they'll do it in or out of your car, so you can bring it in or you don't have to pull it out of your car. They'll come out and do it in the parking lot. Need your windshield wipers replaced, brake light fix, quick service? They'll help you find the right part, or they'll point you to the nearest local repair shop for help. So whether you're a car aficionado or you're a novice, you get with O'Reilly Auto Parts. They're knowledgeable, they're helpful, and best of all, they are friendly, and you can do it online or you can go in. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit them at O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. Election Day is coming up. November 5th, if memory serves, and that's where sendthevote.org comes in. 30% of registered voters do not turn out to vote, and only 23% of people under 30 voted in the last election. Come on, America. Come on, youngsters. We got to do better than that. Sendthevote.org/Adam makes registering to vote very easy. It's nonpartisan. They don't care who you're voting for. They just want to ensure that you vote because you're an American. It's your civic duty. Head over to sendthevote.org/Adam, and they'll help you sign up, register, and they'll check and make sure you're all set to go. You can also text Adam to 33022. That's 33022 to learn more. That's ADAM to 33022. Don't be another no-show statistic. Let's get it done this year at sendthevote.org/Adam.
Celebrating 15 years of podcasting, here's a memorable moment from the Adam Carolla Show's Ace Awards archives.
We gotta keep on dancing all through the night. We're gonna keep on doing it right. We're gonna keep on dancing. We're gonna keep on grooving.
Keep on dancing all through the night.
Yeah.
That was a good one. And of course, sha-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, sha-na-na-na-na.
Now for some new memorable moments, let's get back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Well, tip of the cap to Dawson, I think, for pulling that. Nice job. Yeah, the silver platters.
Yeah, we could have won that contest if we had you.
I think I've seen every Brady Bunch episode, on average, probably 7 times.
Yeah.
And also, big fan of the Partridge Family as well.
Yeah.
I watched it all. Susan Olsen in studio, Cindy Brady, who's probably best known from the Crusher podcast, and that's available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. God, how could you? What? I mean, all right. Overall, being involved with a cultural phenomenon, there's a couple of heads on it. Some people like it. They're grateful. They're happy. The others are like bitter. I was typecast. Whatever that was. How do you, overall, or both?
I think there is a bit of both, and they're both justified. But I think that as we've gotten older, particularly those of us that didn't pursue acting, we're just like, okay. As Sebastian Bach put it to me, he goes, and for some reason
from Skid Row.
Yes, he goes, dude, you're a part of people's childhood, and you're the good part.
Yeah,
and
good
it's
point.
like, you're kind of friends with everybody, even if they don't put it together. I just have a good feeling about her. And there's so many people that have come up and said that show saved my life. Now, if I was pursuing acting, yes, it was a detriment because I did pursue acting before I clued in. Definitely, you get typecast, and particularly me. But if that's not what you're trying to do, it's nothing but it's nice. Our fans are super nice.
Well, let's try to figure this out. And I'd be curious because you alluded to someone saying you saved my life, that show. And so there's kind of 2 angles. I've discussed it on the show many times, but when you see families that are sort of inspirational, and then there's families that are sort of depressing, and so I would watch your show, but I'd watch like Sanford and Son. And then I lived in a broken down house with a broken down family. So when I saw Sanford and Son, I actually felt a little better about how we were. When I would see the Brady Bunch, when you guys would have family meetings, I would get super depressed. Because I do a lot of we would never do that. We would be no family meetings. Just that having your own bathrobe and slippers, which to me was like, oh God, look at these people.
Matching.
And then also, your problems weren't real problems. Your problems were like, Bobby's got a B- in algebra. and I'd be like, my sister just ran away. And I would actually get depressed. I would watch it, but I would get depressed. Well, not get depressed, but I'd be like, God, I wish I lived in that house. I wish I had that family, Now,
you see, I would have totally thought that everybody would feel that way. And that they'd look at that and they'd be jealous, or they'd just,
But then I'd watch Good Times if I wanted to feel better about myself, right?
But with the kids that had it really, really, really bad, that were seeking major therapy, they used the Brady Bunch. And you would think these kids would say, no, I can't relate to them, and why do they have it so good? And instead, it made them feel like there was hope. Like
Yeah.
if somebody was happy, there's hope.
Yeah, I always loved the idea that the dad, Mike, was like a local architect.
Yeah.
And like at some point, Peter would want to play football. And then 10 minutes later, Joe Namath would come walking into the backyard and be like, hey, thanks, Mike. Yeah, I'll throw the ball to your son. I was like, how the fuck do you know Joe Namath? You're architect who works at like Toluca Lake, Sherman Oaks area. Like, why do you have the connection? And then the next thing you know, oh, man, if only... Marcia could get Bobby Sherman to play at the sock op, and then Bobby Sherman would come walking on. Like, what a booker.
I watched the one, because my son, he's now 28, and he didn't watch the show when he was little. It was just too weird.
Don Drysdale would come walking on.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, how did Mike Brady know all these people?
Well, but it really wasn't Mike Brady. It was even worse than that. It was things like... And this is what bothers me. We watched the Davy Jones one, and Marcia, well, she just had to write a letter to
She
Davy.
wrote a letter to Davy Jones.
And Cindy writes a letter to Joe Namath and gets him to come to the house.
Yeah.
It's like you're filling these kids up with dreams, and any celebrity that ignores their letters, which they mostly do.
Don Drysdale showed up too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we had the big stars that weren't playing big stars, but that was still a thrill, like Imogene Coca. Who, I knew about her, Show of Shows, and
right.
She was incredibly sweet and kind and the most painfully shy person you could meet.
Really?
Yeah.
They sold the real Brady house not too long ago.
Well, we worked on it.
Oh,
That
that's
was a
right.
very
That's
Brady
right.
renovation.
That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh, where are my manners?
Somewhere in the Akasha, there's like a 9-year-old me finally feeling good that the truth is up, because I was told as a child, because I was a very serious child.
How old were you when the first day of shooting?
First day of shooting, I was 7, and that was like a year before we really got started.
Mm-hmm.
We did the pilot, but I said to the producers, "Why did you pick that house for the exteriors? It's clearly a 1-story house,
Oh,
and
right.
it might be a split level, but the upstairs is on the wrong side." And they said, "I'll have you know, young lady, that if you go into that house, it looks exactly like this set." And I just, because I wanted to be an architect at the time, and I was like, how could that be? And finally, I don't know how long it took me, but I said something to my mother, and she goes, "Oh, honey, they were just trying to shut you up." that house doesn't look anything like the set. And of course, it didn't.
Yeah, you had to have
But now it does.
You had to have an upstairs because Ma said, don't play ball in the house. And the ball went down the stairs and then shattered Carol's favorite vase.
Yes.
And you knew it was her favorite vase because even though she never spoke of this vase in the 129 other episodes, this episode, she came in and wanted to see her vase. And then she got flowers and she said, I'm going to put it in my favorite vase. I'll put it on the table while we eat dinner. But they glued it back together, but haphazardly. Then she filled it with water and started leaking. She was devastated. But I was always like, you never said anything about the vase before.
Yeah, exactly.
That was an entire episode. Her entire episode is a piece of pottery broke that was worth $19.
If that. Marcia got braces for one episode.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But then the rest of us got braces and nobody said anything because they were real.
Yeah, I will tell you this, and you are uniquely qualified to answer this question. My hair went through the exact transition of the Brady boys. Exactly. So, and I know it. I watched it and I lived it, brother. I had straight hair when I was a kid. And, not Taco Bell material, book cover, whatever that thing is, you can see I have straight hair. And so what happens is when you have straight hair from 0 to like 12, 13 or whatever, you think you're born with straight hair.
Yeah.
Well, then some point it starts to make its move and it starts turning into curly hair. But for the first 2 or 3 years, you don't really know it. You think it's your straight hair's not behaving. So you try, you go, geez,
Cowlick.
yeah, you go to your hair is going from straight hair to kinky hair. And so I would go to like the barber and go, could you cut the curls off and so it would sit down? It's not sitting down. It's getting all kinky and weird. I didn't know I had curly hair. I thought I had straight hair. You watch the Brady Bunch.
Oh, yes.
Those boys have straight hair in the first 1 or 2 seasons. The second couple of seasons, they have fucked up hair because they're trying to get their curly hair down.
Frizzy.
And then you look at Greg in the last season, he's got a fro.
Yeah.
That's the exact thing that happened in my head.
Variety hour. The dreaded variety hour.
Oh, that's right.
And everybody says, well, that's when the Brady boys got perms. It's like, nobody had a perm. It naturally happened.
I was accused of getting a perm. I did not have a variety hour.
Yeah. That disco stew perm.
Yes. I went to the Fantastic Sam's in like North Hollywood when I was 15 and a half on Laurel Canyon or Supercuts or whatever it is. And I said to the chick, my hair's going crazy. Like, get it to flatten it out. And she just went, oh, I know what to do. And she cut it short and then got it wet and then frizzed it out with her hands. And she goes, don't touch it. Just walk home. It's 90 degrees. And I got home. I had a perm. And then when I showed up to school the next day, I was like, you got a perm? I was like, I didn't do anything. It just did it. It did it on its own. But nobody said to me, you have curly hair.
Right,
you don't get
right.
it because for the first 9 or 10 years, straight hair.
Yeah.
I was
the
blonde.
exact same thing happened to every Brady boy. And what's
My hair
really
was
weird,
right with them.
What's really weird, though, is Robert Reed had always had curly hair. And he knew it, and he straightened it.
The dad.
And and then when we were in Hawaii, there was so much humidity, his hair started going, bling, 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 going into these little kinky curls.
Oh, the Hawaiian episode.
Yes, and it was Florence that said, leave it, Bob, leave it. It's beautiful. And so the next season, you saw him with curly hair.
Now everyone's got a perm, and me. And
really? We're doing that again?
Is he, did we know he was gay back then?
I did. I knew when I was 9.
Oh, you knew he was gay?
Yeah, my mom,
But he wasn't out, was he?
No.
Your mom had a lot of insight.
Oh, yeah. Well, no. Florence told her. But
okay.
no, my mom had a big mouth because she told me when I was 9, and she, just explained it because she didn't want me to hear something and think anything ill of him. And she said, he's a man who he loves men rather than women. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So yeah, Mom had that insight. But he, in fact, it's funny because I found out, in more recent years, we all knew that he was gay. We never talked about it until Maureen McCormick's wedding night, where we all bombarded her hotel room at my biological sister's suggestion that we give her a shivaree like hillbillies and just go, make sure that they don't get a honeymoon night and, eat the fruit basket and stuff and just be really big pests. But Bob hadn't come to her wedding, and Maureen said, because, I just wish he could have known. He could have brought a date, whether it's a woman or a man. And I said, yeah. And everybody went, wait, you knew?
Right.
Oh, you knew? You knew? None of us ever talked about it until that evening because it was his business. He never came out. He couldn't come out. And as my mother, who was very insightful, she said to me, gosh, when I was a little older, she said, Bob could come out of the closet and let everybody know that he's gay, and the industry would applaud him and go, you're so brave, and they'd never hire him again.
Right.
And that's the way it was then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He died fairly young, right?
Yeah, he did. And it was, it was cancer, but it was caused by AIDS. And so I posted something on social media several years ago when I had been talking to his daughter. And I know at his funeral, his best friend said, it's a shame he never got to have a love of his life. And I thought, that's so horrible. And then I found out he didn't get to have the love of his life, that there was somebody and that he broke up with him because he just couldn't risk having the industry find out. And to me, that was just so sad because he would have been such a great partner.
I know. Now you can't get a job unless you're gay.
Yes.
It's a totally different fucking world.
How do you think I got this job?
Yeah, start sucking, boy. Yeah. And shave that goddamn beard. What did I tell you about that? Yeah, it's we've maybe overcorrected a little bit, but here we are. Died at 59.
Oh God, yeah,
That's
he
a
didn't
shame.
even make 60. Jeez,
It says
he was younger than me when he died.
I know. While Robert Reed did not die of AIDS at the time of his death, his doctor listed his HIV positive status as one of the significant conditions that contributed to his death on the death certificate. So I don't know. Sounds like it to me.
Then he was posthumously outed because of that, which I would have been totally, dead set against because that was for him to say.
Yeah.
But then I thought, okay, it's out. And at this time, still everybody was in the dark about, what is this? And they were shunning people that had AIDS.
Well,
I thought maybe if they know that Mike Brady could die of AIDS, they'll take it more seriously instead of just going, oh, that's what, only gay people get that.
What a bizarre happenstance to find yourself as sort of America's dad with all this brood of kids and this adoring wife and everything. And be gay the entire time, and knowing that if this secret got out, that it would devastate your career.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's kind of one thing to be gay and, just work at a firehouse and kind of keep it close to the vest or whatever. But it's another thing to be this public, and not only public, but America's dad, like the most heterosexual character on TV. And you're gay, that just had to be a bizarre psychological life for him.
And yet, in a strange way, it worked because being a great father was what he wanted. Mm-hmm. He was Mike Brady in his heart, and he loved us kids. I always felt bad because he did have a real daughter. And, when they divorced, her mother took her to Chicago, and so she didn't see much of him. And I always felt guilty because we got the love that he wanted to give her. And he was very much a father figure. And he took all of us kids to England.
Really?
Yes, so we could see what turned him on to theater and acting, and so we saw Shakespeare plays. He was big on Shakespeare. He taught a class at UCLA.
Really?
Shakespeare. He took us on the Queen Elizabeth II, the steamship.
Wow.
We spent a week on the ocean before we got to England.
You steamed to England with the whole cast and Mike Brady?
Yes.
Wow.
And in England, nobody knew us. So they thought we were all really family. And it was great. Gosh,
how old were you?
It was international waters. I was 12, and I was drinking in the bar.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was like season 5 or
yes. It was just before season 5. We got back in time to go into our last season. Yeah.
Wow. Shakespeare, Mike Brady, England. See, I don't know. I guess we're all guilty of just seeing what we see and kind of go, yeah, that's that guy does over there. You don't know anything about these people and their depth. And
and he wanted to show us. He was so instrumental. He was so fatherly that one year he got me a set of art books for children. He knew I could do art. He knew me well enough to know that I had artistic talent. And he picked out all of his favorite artists so that I would know them. And then one year, he got us all movie cameras so that we could see what it's like to be behind the camera.
Oh, man.
Isn't that insightful?
What a life. That's what you want. You want a gay guy who's pretending to be straight, who's pretending to be your dad, whose real daughter's in Chicago, and he's overcompensating by buying you stuff and taking you on steamer ships. That's what was missing from my childhood.
That's why I feel so guilty. I had 2 great families.
I had Jan, Eve Plumb, in one of my Groundlings classes in probably 1988. I asked her out. She said no. And we used to call her the bitterest Brady because she seemed a little mean.
We called her that too.
She
wow.
she was a mean. I don't mean mean. I'm trying
She
to think of
turned
what
it into a bit.
I don't know what to call it, but she was not a happy camper, which was like it was a weird thing. She was a Brady. She was attractive. She was young when I met her, and she seemed. We had a nickname was the bitterest Brady.
Wow.
And so I don't even know why we had. It wasn't overtly angry, but she's.
But no, well, she turned it. I don't know if she did it in Groundlings, but she did have like a stand-up thing with a partner. It's called Feminine Hijinks, and she would do her bitter Brady monologue.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
What year was this?
Dude, it had to have been
I have
after
no
you.
idea.
You inspired that.
I mean,
Yeah,
what,
this was after
90s,
Groundlings,
80s?
I
Oh, after the
think.
Groundlings.
Yeah. Did you have Victor Wilson?
Vic Wilson.
Yeah.
Oh.
He was my neighbor.
Vic was your neighbor?
Yes. I even taught my son to go over to his house and go, Jeebers, Mr. Wilson.
So Vic Wilson.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Great
cry.
guy.
I think.
Yeah, I know.
First off, did he take his own life?
Yeah.
Okay. First off, if he could take his own life, then anyone could. He was.
That's scary.
He was matinee idol. Good luck.
Oh gosh.
Sorry, Beth.
Smarter than smart. Brilliant. I mean, Most Extreme Elimination. That show.
The show.
That show.
So
yeah.
I met this guy, Vic Wilson. I knew him as Vic Wilson. But
Yeah.
Vic Wilson. And the guy looked like James Dean. He was just looked like a college athlete with matinee idol good looks. And I was like, all right, pretty boy. But now the funny guy's in town. And he was so fucking funny. He was crazy funny and super smart.
Oh God.
And did all the accents and everything. Like, I was like, wait a minute. How is someone this good looking, this funny, and does this many voices? It's kind of a thing where you go, look, the funny guys are fat and they got the double chins. And then the guys who look like that are good, but they're not funny. And then there's the voice guys who look funny, but now aren't as fat. It's the funny guys. Not Vic. Vic. The guy looked like James Dean and was funnier and shit and did all the voices and everything. And I remember going like, well, if this is what I'm dealing with, I don't know if I'm going to make it to the Groundlings. And yeah, Vic was in a class with Eve.
With Eve,
and other people.
Yeah.
And so he and I just made real good friends. And he lived by the Groundlings for a while. I don't know if that was
Then
your
he
neighbor
moved
then.
to my street.
And he was just a chill dude, and he was smart, and he was real funny. And I would go over to his house, and we just have like margarita day, and he'd just make margaritas, and we'd sit on his lawn in folding chairs and just drink margaritas and make each other laugh. And he was such a brilliant guy who had all the tools. And like so later on, when I got out of the Groundlings and got into other things and shows and stuff like that, I would kind of like check with people like Vic Wilson, like what happened? What's Vic up to? And like, he's doing some voiceover stuff with this, or he's doing like a little that. But I was like, no, this guy's a star. He's a star. And it'd be like, well, he's working writing this animated series or something.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, 8 years ago or something, 10 years ago,
least,
I just was like, I got to find out what happened to Vic, because he was such a big. He's had all. He was, so, it was like the star of the Groundlings, and he killed himself. And
Yeah.
I thought, that's what I got from trying to look up what happened. He's at peace now, or like whatever they use. And I was like, whoa, what? And I don't know what the story was.
Well, your audience will remember him and should look him up as Vic Romano on MXE. Which was based on this Japanese game show.
Yeah, did Chris Darga work on that one too?
I think so. Yeah.
These are Groundling, Groundling guys.
You have to rewind to catch all the jokes.
So many
maybe
jokes,
maybe we can find a little.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite shows.
What should people Google?
I think it's MXE.
No, MXC. Yeah,
MXC?
Most extreme elimination challenge. Yeah.
Okay,
MXC, I think they just went by.
Yeah, and I remember Darga, another character, Groundlings guy, actor, working on that and telling me he was working on it with Vic. But even at the time, I was like, Vic should be a movie star, not doing this with you.
Well, but he was being a family guy, and he was writing this cartoon, Rocket something, Nickelodeon, and to me, I put him in the category of just too blessed.
Yeah,
like he just had too much going for him. He couldn't handle it. I mean, I really don't know. I know he started drinking a lot.
Yeah, I think you make bad decisions. Yeah, like you drink too much and then you make an impulse decision, and maybe you wish you could take that back, but it's too late, and now you're gone.
I can think of a rock star that I loved that I don't think that the gun killed him. I think the bottle killed him. And
who's that?
Keith Emerson.
From
Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Oh, I was going to say from Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Yeah.
I love Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Oh, good for you.
I was just talking about Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Good for you, because I was like a weirdo in school because they were my band.
You like Hoedown?
Oh, yeah.
You like brain salad surgery or whatever?
Brain salad surgery is probably the reason why. Like, okay, I have a favorite movie, but it's more like my religion, and it's Alien. Because I'm watching Alien, I'm going, this looks like brain salad surgery. And
it's a crazy rock song. For those who don't know, just when you're done doing Vic Romano, do brain salad surgery, Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Carnival 9, First Impression
Carnival number 9. They're all great. They're all great. Emerson, Lake and Palmer's great. But I did not know he killed himself. All right, we have a clip of Vic Wilson as Vic Romano.
Yeah, they're the voiceovers for like so many jokes per minute that are just overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the last, when I lost track of Vic, he was doing this show, I guess.
Yeah, and he was the guy coming over and saying, can I help you with your Christmas lights? Because I was a single mom. He'd watch my son because he had a little kid, and my son kind of thought of him as his younger sibling. I mean, he was great. And his wife was really nice. Like too blessed.
So
just couldn't handle it.
And just didn't he maybe, didn't reach the heights that he wanted to?
Maybe just that the kind of brain that works at such high speed to make that much funny and be that talented might go off in weird directions too. And he might have needed something to calm that brain down, which created problems. I don't know. I don't want to speculate. I only want to say he was great. And then he was a really, really nice neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking back and drinking margaritas with Vic Wilson on his lawn. It was so weird. It's not like we saw a movie or did anything. We just put folding chairs open and kicked it, drank margaritas.
Enough, though, because he was so entertaining.
It was enough if you were talking to him. It wouldn't be enough if you were talking to half the other people in the city. But that's so weird that Vic was your neighbor.
Yeah,
he does run through my mind every once in a while. Where was that?
In Valencia.
Oh,
and so we were on a cul-de-sac. It was the most magical cul-de-sac because we were all big-time animal lovers. And he had 3 dogs and 4 cats, and everybody had a spot in show business in some way or another. So we had a stuntman here. We had one of the original Sonny and Cher comedy players down the street. We had me. We had a cameraman, and we had a writer. So it was just weird.
All right, so I'm spot on Eve Plumb and Vic Wilson.
Yes.
Okay.
But I mean, Eve didn't mean to be bitter. She just wanted to move on. And yet she turned it into a comedy bit.
I don't
mind.
I don't mind mean. I'm not mean, but I'm like, listen, I gotta go. I'm not one of these people that says bye 4 times. Like, okay, then I'll see you then. Okay, looking forward to it. Let's go. Okay, we'll see you on Friday. Okay. I realize people are talking half the time. I'm hanging up, but all they're doing is winding down, and I'm just moving on. Yeah. So I didn't mind that. you know, I did ask her out on a date. Maybe I was a little butthurt. I don't know.
So
Well, she's cute. And
listen.
come on, everybody was going, say Marsha, Marsha, Marsha.
Oh.
You know, I mean, she really wanted to move on. And think about it. She did Dawn, Portrait of a Teenage Runaway. And her
that's
career
right.
was supposed to go places.
Yeah, they used to do these movies of the week.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of portrait
Yes.
of people. You know, they give you a name.
Yeah.
Becky, portrait of a prostitute.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
and then you just a hard-hitting show. And yeah, she's portrait of a teenage runaway. They're all like a little salacious, like they're out on the street, you know.
Yeah.
They turn them out in the street. We had a weird obsession with underage sex in the 70s. Half the songs, half the TV movies. I mean, there was a movie, oh shit, I'm going to look at Joe, but I mean, you can find the trailer for it. Angel, I'm looking at you too, Dawson. Angel, the movie where she was an honor student by day and a prostitute at night. Like we used to do a lot of at night.
Yeah.
By day, goody two shoes. At night, walking the streets of Hollywood. Was it Angel? It's nuts. This is the movies. Is this the trailer for it? This is the
Wow.
movies we used to play.
Yeah.
This is in movie theaters.
The movie of the week.
This was this may have been a film, or maybe it was a movie of the week.
Angel? Oh, gosh.
Love the music.
No ELP.
Her name is
Oh,
Angel.
I know that girl.
She's unlike any high school student you've ever met.
It's the creepiest stuff of all
Are
time.
you
Yeah.
having difficulty making friends?
I'm on top of the honors list.
There's more to life than getting straight A's.
She's on the honors list.
Her only friends are on the streets.
This is a real movie.
Her only chance is on her own.
You're young, attractive, healthy. You're swimming around in a toilet bowl.
I was alone.
Where's your mom, Angel?
One day I came home from school and she was gone. Just that note, $100 bill.
Wow.
I just put on some sexy clothes and high heels and went out and made a living.
Creepy.
Creepiest guy.
Darn it, Angel. Somewhere down the line, you're gonna have to pay.
It's my life.
Angel, her two worlds are about to collide.
1984.
I might have auditioned for this.
Remind me never to get murdered.
Was that George Lopez?
That might have been.
This is the creepiest. Is this the creepiest thing ever
Kind
produced?
of. I don't know. I'm getting real creepy vibes.
She's an honor student.
Oh, God.
But then she got the pistol
Look at
at the end of the
that
trailer.
Her chance and her life.
Wow.
And there's Angel 3.
They have Avenging Angel. Oh man, it's kicked off a whole intellectual
What?
property.
Is this all because everyone is out of their brain on cocaine?
Yes.
That they wrote this and that they greenlit it and they funded it and they produced it. I mean, I've made movies. It takes a lot.
Yeah,
you need
yeah.
people and trucks and script supervisors and catering. It's
and a whole lot of blow.
and a whole lot of blow. And no one ever stopped in the middle and went, "What the fuck are we doing here, people?
Remember,
What
like
is
roller rink movies?
Yes.
And yes. Yeah.
this?" Weird emphasis on underage sex.
Yeah.
An emphasis on it. Songs, movies. Weird.
They
That
needed
little
it.
girl that went bad.
Yeah.
I guess it
now
was a
she's on the
fantasy.
street. I get it, but then later, 5 minutes later, you got P. Diddy and Weinstein and
well,
everything, and you're like, oh, yeah. Oh, that's what they were producing. First off, they were telling us this
Yeah.
is what we're doing. They made movies
You know,
about
they
it.
never hide it.
Yes. Any
Government's the
Weinstein,
Yeah.
any Harvey stories?
No. I mean, I was more aware of how lecherous things were when I was an adult, but I got to tell you, I never saw anything bad going on with kids when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And we had a really healthy set, really nice family people on the set. Everybody was nice. Everybody was cool. But later on, through social media, they had former child actor Facebook pages and stuff. And I was shocked at how many kids I knew that were in the industry at that time got molested. Yeah.
I delivered booze when I worked at the Flask Liquor to Sherwood Schwartz's house.
In Truesdale or the one in the Valley?
Truesdale Estates. And I was like, this guy's made it, man. Sherwood Schwartz did the Brady Bunch.
And
he did like, I don't know, Far Out Space Nuts or something. No, that was somebody else.
I think that was Sid Marty Krofft.
Yeah, what was his other big one?
Gilligan's Island.
Oh, Gilligan's Island. The guy does Gilligan's Island, Brady Bunch. He's got a palace up in Truesdale Estates, and I'm dropping off Dom Perignon when I'm 17 going, this guy's got it made.
But he did about 200 other shows, too.
Yeah, he just...
that didn't make it. So the guy earned it.
Sherwood, did he come to the set a lot?
Yes, he did. He was extremely nice to work with.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sherwood Schwartz.
He was the big producer of the time? I don't
Creator.
understand. Created too.
I don't know. There were kind of back when those guys that just did like Aaron Spelling.
Yeah.
Sherwood Schwartz was like the comedy, madcap comedy version of Aaron Spelling, right?
Yeah, not quite as many. I mean, gosh, Aaron Spelling had dozens of hits. Didn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, Sherwood was the man, and as a child, and you're very impressionable. And if somebody's not nice, you know it. We'd go to visit him in his office. He'd always come out and sit on the couch and be really nice.
I used to listen to you on KLSX out here, and I later on was on KLSX. And as long as we're on our morose, depressing journey, Ken Ober, because it was Ober and Olsen.
And Jen Kober was just on this show. And that always freaks me out. It's like
Ken Ober died very young. Yes. He was on Remote Control on MTV.
Yeah.
What did he die of?
Apparently a heart condition, or that's what they say, but I always felt like there was a whole lot of going
booger
on.
Sugar going on?
Maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe something like that.
I've given myself a heart condition multiple times.
Well, when we were partners, we had a show together on KLSX, and I don't know. I never saw any deviant behavior. But, we're all so robbed. Because I was just thinking this morning, because I saw Jimmy Kimmel, and we were talking about Ken. And
when did you see Jimmy?
At the Emmys.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, I was like, well, I wanted to say something about what's up with the COVID jab, damn you. But, I was around other people, and everybody went, so I was nice. And dang it, he's so nice. And he says, oh, Ken Ober, and but, we're all deprived, because can you imagine what a great old man Ken Ober would have been?
Yeah, I mean, I think people knew him from the, actually, Jimmy sent me a lovely text today. Joe, grab my phone, I'll just tell you, it's kind of funny. Because the thing about Jimmy, he's very thoughtful. And he's sweet.
Sweet, yes.
But he's funny, and he kind of knows he's dealing with me. So when my dad died, he knew he had to write me something that was sweet, but also funny, because that's that's how we talk. And he was real sweet about it. He's a very thoughtful guy. So Ken, I just remember from Remote Control, thank you. Yeah. And then I remember from your show. But that whole KLSX thing was a rogues gallery of like crazy Mother Love. Was Mother Love? Was the nasty man on there?
Later, the original lineup. Well, I mean, it was well intentioned, but a flawed project to begin with, because they wanted to be FM talk, and we're going to be different from AM talk, and you can't talk about anything on the news because people can get that from AM. And I'm like, well, people will go get that from AM if we don't talk about anything that you can't have guests on, because AM does that.
Yeah.
And so
was that Jack Silver or Bob?
No, it was before Jack. It was Sabo. Walt Sabo.
Oh, I didn't work with him. Okay. I ended up taking over for Stern at KLSX. All right, here's what I wake up to this morning, because Jimmy also finds everything out. Like, I was going to tell him, but I was going to let him have his coffee. But he found out my dad passed. because he passed at like 11:30 at night. All right, so I wake up to Mike told us your dad passed. That's Mike August. I know it was a complicated and mostly one-sided relationship, but it's never easy, and I hope you're okay. At the very least, he left you what started as a Brillo head and ended up being the envy of many men over 60. I'm just talking about my crazy hair. And 14 months remaining on a car lease. And a trumpet. XO. So Jimmy's always dialed in, like left the trumpet, knew the car lease, knew the Brillo head, and then I wrote him back also my 40-inch vertical and a deep understanding of the NASDAQ. That's how we would communicate.
That's sweet.
Yeah, except my
That's
dad
great.
didn't have a vertical or know about the. I don't think my dad knows what the NASDAQ is.
But he talked about your hair.
Yeah.
See? Aren't you grateful for it now?
I have my hair at age 60, and so I should thank the late, great Jim Carolla for that.
Yeah.
All right, you're getting a plug, Susan Olsen. The Crusher podcast, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. Wow, you should come in here on a more regular basis, and we should just do a segment called Shit We Thought We Forgot.
Yes.
And I'll bring up bad 80s movies, and you talk about...
I'll remember all of them.
You talk about Neighbors, who I went to the Groundlings with, and Eve Plumb. It's going to be awesome, man.
I would love it. I'm all in.
All right. Let's see who else was. Sam Tripoli. I'm going to be in Vegas tomorrow night playing Jimmy's Club. 2 shows there, doing stand-up, and then at some frat house in Santa Barbara Friday night. Tickets going fast. Go to AdamCarolla.com. Until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Sam Tripoli and Susan Olsen and Mayhem saying mahalo.